Holy moly, that was some fast intro music right there. My word. Welcome you all to another live stream here on the channel. We got Lucy, Caleb, Kevin in here, Chip. Let's see what else we have in here. Severe Weather Lover. Definitely not Caleb is also in here. And everyone else who may be watching, not chatting, glad to have you here as well. Let's go ahead and dive right on into this for severe weather. I'm just going to make sure I have everything good to go. I should. We'll switch to the normal scene first to see if that's all good. And then I'll switch over to our tornado warning. Yep, we are good to go. Okay, let's go to our tornado warning scene because we are at a tornado warning currently. Let's go take a look at that. That's going to be, geez, what radar site? This radar site here, it's in north central Vermont where we have a tornado warning. Now, the thing you're going to have to note with today's severe threat is we're looking pretty much in the mountains, if not in the mountains. So you're going to be really looking at tilt 3 or maybe even tilt 4. So, I mean, it's really going to be a difficult ordeal to be seeing these storms from radar sites. We may even have to use a bit of Canada's radar site. Probably not. I'm going to try my best to avoid that. But anyways, we do actually have a bit of a radar hole today. You can see we have a radar here, southwest Maine. One in northwestern Vermont, and one way down here in southeastern Massachusetts, and then another one towards Albany in southeastern New York. So our main risk is really in a perfect radar hole here towards the Concord area. This is where we're anticipating our highest risk for severe weather as we go towards 5, maybe 6 o'clock later on today. This watch goes all the way until, I believe, 9 o'clock Eastern. 8 o'clock Eastern. A few tornadoes is going to be likely today. 70-mile-an-hour winds likely. 1.5-inch hail will be possible. Probabilities on this are quite decent. We're at a 60-20 here. So basically what that means is we're anticipating 1 to 2 tornadoes and possibly even a strong tornado. So can't fully toss a strong tornado in the trash can. Although a strong tornado is not anticipated, can't fully, get rid of it. So these are probably going to be our main storms to watch. Out here towards eastern New York, going into northwestern, well, actually not yet, but eventually we'll head into northwestern Massachusetts, southern Vermont. As those storms move off to the northeast, they should start to cluster up into more of a line, and then the northern edge of that line will probably become our primary tornado threat. If not, we're going to have 2 separate discrete supercells in place, which will be a very interesting ordeal if that does happen. And we are keeping an eye on this storm too in southern New York. Northern Pennsylvania, it is no longer tornado possible. It was, it's not anymore. So a few of these storms we'll just keep an eye on for an isolated tornado all the way up from, the Syracuse, New York place all the way back towards Pittsburgh. We could have a brief tornado or two generally in this area, especially as storms begin to move to the east. However, tornadoes are not anticipated in that area, so that's why we don't have any watch issuance or anything like that. Let's go over to our radar site once again, just to get a look at this storm. It does not look that impressive anymore. I do believe they're going to let that tornado warning expire in 4 minutes. Here's what it looked like a couple minutes ago. Also note that because of the tilt, we probably won't get radar scans, but every 5 to maybe even 6 minutes, depending on what level of tilt we are at. So a couple minutes ago, this is what your tornado or your area of rotation looked like. It hasn't been confirmed as a tornado by any means. We had some green and some reds very close to each other here, and you can see those very, very quickly broke apart as it went towards the Waterbury area. And that tornado warning is going to be allowed to expire in about 4 minutes or so. So once that expires, I'll look at Kentucky, Scott, once that tornado warning is gone. And these two are just special weather statements, so those are just strong storms. You want to be indoors away from doors and windows if you're in either one of those special weather statements. They're not anything too over the top at this moment, but they should begin to intensify very, very, very slowly as we go throughout the day today. Here's what the future radar could look like. We're actually getting a new model run in now, but if I just pull this out, this is generally how the radar looks like right now. We have a bit of storms towards Albany, another storm near South Glen Falls here, and then more storms towards Vermont. Later on today, we're anticipating, like I said, those storms to grow upscale into more of a line, becoming more of a threat for damaging winds in an isolated weak tornado or two. And then this threat will most likely be completely over at or possibly even before 8 o'clock Eastern time. So we'll be monitoring this throughout the next couple of hours, keeping a close eye on it, and I will let y'all know if we see anything too over the top. Let's see here. Another interesting thing is, I don't know why, but on MPing, a lot of people are reporting snowfall on the east side of the U.S. That's obviously not true, but I just saw that on Radar Scope. Bit of an interesting ordeal there. Pretty sure it's not snowing out there, but I mean, hey, you never know. All right, that tornado warning was actually canceled, so that's good news. So here is our upcoming severe weather threat. We have today's threat, of course, which is going to be on a Sunday. 10% chance for tornadoes out here, 5% chance around that. This is the first enhanced risk for tornadoes we've seen in the Northeast in the last 6 years. Main issue is anticipated to be damaging winds upwards of about 75 to 80 miles per hour, and large hail could be a possibility, 1.5 to 2 inch in diameter as well. Tomorrow, we do have a slight risk for severe weather at the moment. However, an upgrade to an enhanced risk is likely, pending on the upscale growth of thunderstorms. But we are anticipating a enhanced risk to be issued for tomorrow. Currently, there is a large 2%. I don't believe tornadoes are going to be the biggest issue tomorrow. I think the biggest issue is going to be wind. We already have a 15 hatched area out towards the Twin Cities, northwestern Wisconsin, where the potential for a derecho does exist. The hail threat's also going to be present as well. Upwards of 2.5, possibly pushing 3 inch in diameter will be possible tomorrow. Just depends on what these storms look like. We're either going to have a massive hail threat tomorrow, or we're going to be dealing with a bit of a lower hail threat, and we're going to be dealing with a derecho tomorrow. So one or the other, we're looking at a derecho or some gigantic hail, and depending on which one occurs, the SPC will either upgrade the threat or not upgrade it at all. Then we have day 3. I believe this is Tuesday's severe weather threat out here in Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Missouri, and northwestern Ohio, southern Michigan. All hazards should be on the table in this area as well. At the moment, it looks like damaging winds are probably going to be the main concern for Tuesday as well. I haven't checked much of Wednesday. Let me go ahead and see what Wednesday looks like. So day 4, see if the SPC is talking about anything. It looks like day 4 is probably going to skip over Kentucky. That's probably going to be heading into my area. Wednesday, some threat for strong to severe storms may evolve from Ohio Valley into the Ozarks vicinity in association with the southeast moving cold front. However, there is uncertainty on the exact placement of convection and the tendency for the cold front to become displaced from the stronger flow aloft. Some severe threat could materialize in parts of the northeast with the upper level, a shortwave trough that is anticipated to move through the region in conjunction with the cold front, but the uncertainty is too high at this point to introduce any area of severe weather. So they haven't introduced a 15% chance of probabilities so far. So just too much uncertainty in regards to the moisture return destabilization in advance of the front. Let's see. And then Thursday through Saturday, the potential for severe weather looks possible. However, there's still a bit of uncertainty regarding that. So there's just your quick briefing on the upcoming severe threats there. And we did just get a severe on one of our main storms of the day here. This is going to be moving into the radar hole, so we're not going to have great coverage on that at all. Main threat at this moment is damaging winds, which, remember, damaging winds is what we're anticipating to be the main issue today. So we may not see that many tornadoes. We're anticipating to see at least the potential for one tornado. We have about a 60% chance inside the entire watch area to see a tornado. So I do think we will see a tornado at some point today. I don't anticipate it to be strong, but we'll see. I mean, you never know. That's probably rain, Scott. Yeah, you're probably going to be seeing some rain on Saturday. Maybe some isolated rumbles of thunder, but severe weather looks unlikely at this moment. You said for Wednesday. I'll just double check that again. Yeah, there's a lot of uncertainty at this point, so I wouldn't fully rule out isolated severe storms, but I really we'll really just have to wait until we get closer to that on Wednesday. I just realized something. Day 4 is Wednesday. So my threat for severe weather is on Wednesday, not Thursday. I was anticipating it was going to be Thursday. It looks like it's actually Wednesday, the 26th. Just realized I had my dates screwed up there. Yay for me. Yeah, but anyways, Tuesday's threat does look to be primarily damaging winds as well. Tomorrow's just up in the air. It really depends on if that capping breaks for tomorrow's severe threat. And that's going to be something we determine probably in the afternoon, maybe even the evening hours. Alright, let's see if we have any possible severes. We do have one up here in northwestern Vermont, northeastern New York. I really don't see anything interesting with that at all. Currently, we'll go up in tilt, see if it has it, and higher up in tilt here. Okay, I do see why they went possible with that. So actually, that's the storm that already left the severe. This storm here is what's possible. So it's already outside of the United States. It's already in Canada. No severes in anywhere in Pennsylvania or southern New York anymore, so that's good news. And there's currently no tornado warnings either. So that is good news as well. In New York, let me see. Is that like in the foothills or where? I'll just see. Let me get that town name. Okay, so that's close to Syracuse. That's southwest of Syracuse. Not really. Yeah, that's not really anything. It might be worth just watching a bit, just in case something could come out of it, but that doesn't look interesting to me. It almost looked like on velocity it was because of a cell merge, but there's no cell merge that occurred with this, so we'll keep an eye on it, but I highly doubt that's going to be anything. So this severe threat should take or I should say the tornado threat should take a while to get going. We're not expecting to go from 0 to 100. It's going to be the exact same case as yesterday. Everybody's going to start to let their guard down, including me. And then once we all let our guard down, that's when we're going to start seeing tornadoes. Which I anticipate that to be closer to 6, maybe even pushing 7 o'clock tonight, right before storms move offshore. So I'm anticipating that highest tornado threat to really be focused right over where you are, severe weather lover. I think that's going to be where we watch the most for the tornadic threat to develop. Can't fully rule out a tornado, of course, but I don't think we're looking at anything significant. That significant tornado threat's present, but I don't see it being much of an issue. Burlington radar. Is that the new storm you're talking about further south? This one? Look at velocity. I mean, let me see. Not that one. A different one. The new severe warning one. There is no... Oh, this one down here? This one? If this is one you're talking about, this is not the proper radar site to use. You're going to have to use the Albany radar site. There's not really a good radar site for that, though. That's 81 miles away. Yeah, the Albany one's about 70. That's mainly a wind threat and an isolated hail threat with it. You can see we have a bit of a hail core there. Shouldn't be anything crazy. At the most, 1-inch hail. It's 1 for 0.75. Yeah, I don't see any rotation. That's the one that's connected, not the severe. It's got rotation. So this one... Oh! Hey! Okay, so from the far radar site, you're correct. That actually does have a little rotation with it. That is an upper level meso. So that is about 9,000 feet up that is rotating, which could very well warrant a warning. Let me see the Albany radar site. So, yeah, I mean, you've got a little hook on it, close to the 3,000 foot mark. So that's an upper level mesocyclone. It's rotating in the upper levels. If that translates down closer towards the surface and gets any lower than that, may actually be an area of concern. Yeah, a little bit of rotation. Definitely not anything that's an imminent tornado or anything like that. But see, that's what you got to look for. You got to look for those little tiny areas of rotation, because that's what could produce tornadoes today. You're not going to be looking for those big, massive mesocyclones in ginormous areas of 120 mile an hour rotation like we somehow managed to get yesterday. You're going to be looking for the tiniest little features of a storm that might just have an upper level area of rotation. So just to let y'all know, a mesocyclone is pretty much an area of rotation. It really is. That's really what you can coordinate it to. Pretty much the mesocyclone is the area of a thunderstorm that rotates. So when you say rotation, it means that there's a mesocyclone. So that's why I kind of mix between both of those. Caleb, are you going to be able to get back anytime soon? Are you away from any chargers? I can send one your way. Probably not going to get there until tomorrow, but it's still possible. Man, I know how that feels, Caleb. When that happens, thankfully now I have my license, so I just literally can drive back home. This might be the tiniest area of the early stages of an area of rotation trying to develop. It is definitely not rotating right now, 100% not rotating, but it is definitely something you want to keep an eye on. The reason why I'm looking at these storms very closely, and I'm literally looking for any velocity signatures, is because these are the storms that are going to be able to produce tornadoes, or could be able to produce tornadoes in the near future. Those are going to be the cells to watch. I actually haven't looked at mesoanalysis today, I'll be honest. I took a quick look at it for the lower level jet, that's it, but I haven't done an actual analysis on it. Gracious day. Wow, that's trash. That's trash. Does the ARRR pick up on the lack of instability? Oh, it does. So currently, the environment that this is heading into is actually not the worst until it gets to New Hampshire. It drastically tampers off in New Hampshire. I am very confident that the environment will continue to destabilize out there, so it shouldn't be much of an issue. Long story short, anything that fires in New Hampshire is just not going to be able to get going. But once these storms, say, 2 hours from now, um, they may be moving a little bit too fast. I mean, that's going to be in New Hampshire in an hour. It's probably going to take 2 hours before that environment really gets going in New Hampshire. So I don't think you're going to have too much of a notable threat until after 5 o'clock, personally. So we probably went live a little early, but I just did that because of the tornado warning that was active, and got to get to the 3-hour mark somehow. Let me show you guys the shortwave. Who texted me? Oh, that's Ethan. Let me show you guys the shortwave that's in place. So there you go. That's your big shortwave that is in place currently in Vermont, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, Connecticut. Massive trough and a shortwave there. And you can see we do have an environment beginning to develop for the favorability of all hazards out there. A bit of an exception with the hail side of things in southern New Hampshire. This is going to continue to destabilize, so anybody like Ethan who thinks that the instability is going to stay this trash is wrong. You're not going to go from 0 instability to 5,000 instability in the matter of 2 seconds. It's going to take time, and that's exactly what is going to happen here. I mean, if we look, let me just show you. Let's look 2 hours ago, for instance, 4 hours ago. Barely any instability in Vermont at all, right? Barely any whatsoever, just a bit in western Vermont. Now, 1,500, maybe 2,000 as well. So we'll continue to keep an eye on the instability side of things. Now, something that Ethan just will not let go is the lapse rates. So here's the lower level lapse rates. These are not the most impressive, but we are actually at 7 in southern Vermont. And again, this will continue to increase in New Hampshire. The lower level lapse rates shouldn't be that big of an issue. They're definitely going to be something that could make this underperform and not produce one tornado at some point. The mid-level lapse rates, that's why we really don't have any hail threat, like, at all. I'd be pretty surprised if we even see 1-inch hail with these lapse rates, to be honest. I should probably change my title to 1-inch hail, because we're probably not going to see much at all with that. Mid-level lapse rates are about 5.5 out here. When you're dealing with mountains and in the Northeast, 5.5 is going to be enough to cut it for a conditional tornado threat. Is the 10% warranted today? Maybe. That's a call that the National Weather Service gets to make in the Storm Prediction Center, not Ethan. So I personally agree with the National Weather Service and Storm Prediction Center in issuing that 10% tornado risk, because it definitely seems to have a potential for tornadoes out there. Do I think we're going to see a tornado outbreak? Straight up, no. No. Do I think we will see 1 to 2 tornadoes? Yeah, I think we definitely have the risk for 1 to 2 tornadoes after 5 p.m. Now, before 5 p.m., I'd be pretty surprised. After 5 p.m., that's when I'm anticipating it. So we'll just see. Personally, I don't think it's the worst environment. It is a conditional tornado threat, but it's there. It's impressive for the Northeast. I mean, you can't expect mid-May ingredients in the Northeast in the middle of June, so, I mean, will there be any hatched risks for Tuesday in Indiana? Maybe wind. Wind looks to be a potential, but that just depends on how tomorrow is going to play out. I'm not #1 fan of the SPC, but I would much rather listen to them over a 14-year-old, just saying. All right, let's go back to our severe warning here. We did get a damage report of a tree down. There is a small chance that might be a tornadic. Let's see. So that was, when was that reported? That was reported at 36 UTC, so that was here. That is definitely not related to any tornadic incident. Unless it's a land spout. So that's just your ordinary severe thunderstorm there. I wonder if Canada issued a tornado warning for that yet. Nope, not yet. They have a severe warning on that. A little surprise. Normally Canada's if there's 1 pixel of rotation, it's a tornado warning for 3 hours. So I'm pretty surprised we don't see we haven't seen a tornado warning right there. Little area of rotation going up towards Stunton. Where the heck are we? In Quebec. See you later, Caleb. Thank you for turning. I can't speak. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you, severe weather lover. I don't want to be 19. I'm hoping that 19 years old. I don't know how many tornadoes I'm going to see when I'm 19, but when I turn 20, that's probably going to be the year when we, full-time chase it. At some point, we're just going to have to send it. I can't sit here forever. At some point, we're just going to have to send it and go out to Oklahoma for a week. Probably not the smartest idea. Do you think Tuesday will only be a wind threat? No. All hazards will be possible Tuesday, but the extent of the significance of it is meh right now. Can't really tell. So we're at 3 severe thunderstorm warnings, one of which are in Canada. So only 2 severes in the U.S. Again, we're not anticipating a widespread tornado outbreak today. I already saw some people say a tornado outbreak is possible today. The only time that is in my titles is if I am very confident in tornadoes occurring. But most likely, you're not going to catch me putting that in my title unless the National Weather Service has a 10 sig. There's a big difference between a 10% tornado risk and a 10 significant tornado risk. 10 sig means that significant tornadoes are possible. A non-sig means that, you can't fully rule out a significant tornado, but it's not really something that's on the table. So I'll just basically describe it to you. 10% tornado risk means that every 25 miles of given point, there's a 10% chance we see a tornado. A 10 significant tornado risk is every 25 miles of a given point, we have a 10% chance of a significant tornado, EF2 plus. What is that? Don't issue a tornado warning. Oh. I see. You're mad at your own, I don't even know what you call it out there, honestly. The Environmental of Canada Weather Service, whatever the heck you call it. Man. Yeah, this severe remains in effect for 12 minutes. I wouldn't be shocked to see that disappear now. There is a very high chance we're going to be left with just 1 severe in less than 12 minutes. They should bring back 5 SIGs. I agree, honestly. I agree. For the conditional strong tornado threats, I 100% agree. 2 SIGs should not be a thing, but 5 SIGs, yeah, honestly. I don't believe it's a bad idea. Let's see here. Honestly, very surprised we don't have a tornado warning in Canada. I'm honestly really surprised with that, because that is quite the hook echo and area of rotation there. Definitely not strong, but that is definitely rotating. It 100% has an area of rotation with it. Favorite weather? Tornadoes. As long as they don't do any damage to anybody, I'd love to see a tornado in real life. That's the thing. I love tornadoes, but not the damage they cause. If we disclude tornadoes, probably, I don't know. Probably hail. Hail gets me very excited. When I see hail, I get very excited because I think tornado. So that's probably the second one, is hail. Yeah, just not much of an interesting ordeal yet, which really, again, wasn't anticipating it until 5 o'clock tonight, so not shocked with the slow start. That's a classic severe weather threat with very low lower level lapse rates and very low mid level lapse rates. Those are, if you have 8 kilometer mid level lapse rates and 7 kilometer lower level lapse rates, that's going to increase the intensification phase of thunderstorms. We have I think we have like 6 out here in the lower levels and 5.5 in the mid. Storms are just barely going to be able to intensify with that. That's going to be hours. It's going to take hours for storms to get going. For instance, our previously tornado warned storm, that thing started firing up. I mean, gracious day. Let me go all the way back to when that thing started firing up. Okay, that thing started to fire up at 15:18 Zulu time. 15:18 Zulu time. It was tornado warned at 18:08 Zulu time. So, like 2.5 hours later. Which is why I said these storms probably won't get going until about 5 o'clock in terms of tornadic activity. This is quite more discreet than I thought, honestly. I was anticipating this to be more of clustery, lined mess. So, I'm pretty interested in that. Let me make sure all my radars are on the new scan. Johnson City's fine. Could I look at the HRRR? I mean, I don't think you're going to see much more than rain showers tonight. Maybe an isolated rumble of thunder, but probably not. And then for tomorrow, nothing. And Tuesday, nothing. Now, I will say this. Watch out for Wednesday. It's far out, so I can't give you much details on it. But I would be monitoring Wednesday if I'm anywhere in Kentucky, Tennessee, West Virginia, North Carolina, Ohio, Indiana, Pennsylvania. I would be monitoring Wednesday. Maybe not Indiana, actually. Let me give you a good circle here. So Wednesday, severe threat, I would be watching if I'm anywhere in this area here. This area is going to get way smaller. We're not going to see a slight risk this large. But it's far out, and it's another instance where we just got to take it one day at a time. Our more notable severe threat may be in Kentucky, Tennessee for Wednesday, or it may be in Virginia, North Carolina, or it may be in New York, Pennsylvania. There's multiple different locations, and it all depends on tomorrow's threat, Tuesday's threat, on what happens for Wednesday. They did extend that severe. I am a little surprised by that. Let's see here. Oh, okay. It is still there. I'm just a bit surprised they issued that so late. I thought if they were going to issue the severe warning for the storm, it was going to be 5 minutes ago when it was starting to leave the warned area. So they just took a little longer to do that. Oh, slight risk day 3, Indiana? I don't know. I don't think there's enough confidence for that. Allentown, Pennsylvania. So very conditional threat if you're in Pennsylvania. You're in the, I believe, all hazard risk, maybe without hail. Yeah, not in the hail risk. You're in the wind threat is the biggest issue. Tornado or two can't be completely ruled out, but is definitely not anticipated. Let's see the timing for your severe threat. Should be later today, close to about 7, 8 o'clock Eastern. Main threat by far will be winds. I wouldn't completely rule out half-inch hail. Half-inch hail, 60-mile-an-hour winds, and a tornado will be possible, but definitely not anticipated. Around the realms of a 2% chance for a tornado. New York City, not much of an issue. Damaging winds is the main concern in New York City. About 8, 9 o'clock Eastern, storms will get out there, so we'll be keeping an eye on it, but it shouldn't be anything too crazy. Ooh, actually, I was looking in the wrong area. My bad. Storms will hit New York City closer to 9, 10 o'clock tonight. 9, 10 o'clock. Still the same hazards. Damaging winds will be the biggest issue. I don't know about the tornado threat. It is present. I can't fully rule out a tornado, but I mean, I'd be blown away if we saw a tornado in New York City. That's just not something I would ever think I'd see in my lifetime. Walden, New York. I don't think I've heard of that place. Let's see. I haven't really. Oh no, I have heard of that place. I believe there was a severe storm there a month and a half ago or so. Pretty much the same hazards I said for New York City. Can't fully rule out a tornado. Damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour will be the main issue, and maybe if you're very unlucky, half-inch hail. Time frame should be. I think you may be getting some rain now. Yeah, you're actually getting some storms now, but they are a little bit further off to your west there. But yeah, the timing should be about 9, 10 o'clock tonight. Really, thunderstorms will be possible throughout the day out there. Ooh, 6.8 lower level lapse rates. That's pretty good. 5.4 mid level. Not the worst. That's observed? Oh, sweet. I'm going to go look at that. I'm going to go look at that. Forecast tools. Observed soundings. 18Z. Okay, this is in eastern New York, which is, I believe, where our most favorable environment is. I'll double check. Yeah, so this is pretty much where our most favorable environment is. This was observed about an hour and 26 minutes ago. Not really anything too, like, crazy here. I mean, you're pretty good with the temperature dew points. That's actually really good. You've got definitely enough veering. Pretty good lower level lapse rates, pretty good instability, I should say really good. A very marginal capping in place. That's probably because storms already went through the area at this point. The only issue is the mid-level lapse rates, and that is it. That's why we're not seeing any really big, robust, crazy thunderstorms currently, because those mid-level lapse rates are at 5.4, but even then, we're still going to have the risk for 65, 70 mile-an-hour winds, half-inch hail, and maybe even a tornado or two. Which we will have that risk for a tornado or two. But again, I'm pretty sure these storms were moving through that area once that sounding was observed. Yeah. Well, Ethan, it's not a high risk, dude. What are you expecting? 8-kilometer lapse rates in the Northeast in mid-June? My word. This dude. It's a 10% tornado risk, and it's in the Northeast. I'm not surprised by it. It's typical conditions. The mid-level lapse rates are a bit on the lower end, but that's why we don't have a 10 sig. Storms aren't expected to be hitting that mid-level area. Potential for a severe watch and/or a tornado watch is being considered in portions of southeastern New York, northeastern Pennsylvania, Connecticut, southern Massachusetts, and northwestern Rhode Island. Inside this area in yellow right here. So that's going to include Allentown, Pennsylvania, and it's just outside of New York City. The area is being monitored for a few strong to severe storms this afternoon. Damaging winds and perhaps a tornado or two appear to be the main concerns. Convective and environmental trends are being monitored for the potential of a watch issuance. Could be severe, could be tornadic, or a tornado watch, my word. Could be a tornado watch, could be a severe watch. Yeah, severe watch, or no, watch issuance is possible this afternoon. It's a purple mesoscale discussion, which means a severe or a tornado watch. Let's see here. But that's not true at all, Ethan. That is not true at all. Terrain is a big deal. A slight risk with 50-degree dew points in Colorado can quite easily, depending on other ingredients, produce a tornado outbreak. And 50-degree dew points in Oklahoma would most likely do diddly squat doo doo mustard nothing. So that is not true at all. Let's see. So here's your tornado risk for today. We've got a decently sized 5% tornado risk with a generally smaller 10% tornado risk. Storm's already halfway through that 10%. Personally, I believe the greatest tornado threat is going to be out in this area after 5 p.m. Once this cluster towards Albany really gets up in towards this vicinity here. So like I said, after 5 p.m. in about an hour and a half, I think our main tornado threat will begin. Regardless, it is still a conditional threat for a tornado or two, so there is a 40, according to the watch, there's about a 40% chance we don't see a tornado today in the entire watch area. So, I mean, it's definitely a rare event for the Northeast and quite an interesting tornado probability from the SPC. So, I mean, it's conditional. It's conditional. Same goes for yesterday. Storm started to produce tornadoes on the border of that 5% tornado risk. So I wouldn't be surprised if we start to really see that tornadic activity right at the shoreline. But regardless, the main threat today is anticipated to be damaging winds. Let's see here. Yeah, there has only been one high risk in the Northeast. I'm pretty sure it was a crazy tornado outbreak. If I'm not mistaken, didn't we have a tornado outbreak the day before? Something out in the Northeast or the North Central U.S., and then it transitioned into the Northeast, and it was almost partially unanticipated. I remember somebody did a case study on that. I don't think it was Trey. Why are things so crazy this year? It's a combination of us. Well, that's a tornado warning. But it's a combination of us. Hey, holy crap! It's freaking West Virginia. Hold on, hold on, hold on. Let me take an analysis radar. There's a few different things.
Tornado warning for East Central Belmont County in East Central Ohio, Southwestern Washington County in Southwestern Pennsylvania, Northwestern Greene County in Southwestern Pennsylvania, Ohio County in Northern West Virginia, Marshall County in Northern West Virginia, Belmont County in Ohio, Greene, and Washington County in Pennsylvania.
Can I talk now?
Marshall,
no,
and Ohio County in West Virginia.
Come on. So it's a combination of a few things. We got a whole lot more troughs this year, a shocking amount of troughs, and they actually were slow moving and hung around a lot more. We also didn't see any type of omega block like we did last year to prevent that severe weather threat from really, occurring in the main tornado season. Also, a combination of El Nino significantly actually influenced the tornado threat this year. And a few other mesoscale factors as well. Climate change as well. I mean, a few things. It was really a perfect combination of a high amount of troughs that were slow moving, hung around for a while, and high and very strong in amplitude. That just allowed for a very active primary classic tornado season. And I say classic because we barely saw tornadoes in Dixie Alley this year. I mean, we probably had like one, maybe two notable tornado threats that occurred in Dixie Alley. And one of those was actually in, I just remembered it, in northeastern Alabama. We had like so many tornadoes spawn up. There was like 20-some tornadoes from a cluster of thunderstorms over the span of an hour. It was also a combination of us jinxing it. That too, Twitter wouldn't stop calling things a bust before they occurred, so Weather took that as an insult and a challenge. Also took it as an insult and a challenge yesterday, too. So we do have a tornado warning now in effect out here in Wheeling, West Virginia. Let me just go to the correct radar site. I have 6 radars open. So there's your mesocyclone area of rotation right here, north of Moundsville in West Virginia. This also includes a very small portion. This is in 3 different states. We have Ohio, a small portion of Ohio, a decent portion of northern West Virginia, and a very small tip of Pennsylvania. This is inside 3 states. If this put down a tornado for about 20 minutes, it'd be a tri-state one, because it'd be able to touch down here and then lift towards Pennsylvania. So I don't really see any evidence from radar of this being on the ground, but it very easily could be on the ground at any given second. So make sure you're seeking shelter in your safe spot if you're inside that tornado warning. That is for 42,000 people. That is for 42,000 people. Let me check the CPC outlook really fast. Yay, still in a moderate for heat next week. Today, in my opinion, today was actually worse than yesterday for the heat. And I think it only got up to like 91 today. Today was worse out here in Virginia. Alright, let's see the radar site in Albany again. So that little area of rotation that was present there towards the Petersburg area, an upper level area of rotation, it seems like that is broken apart, no longer rotating. But at any given second, any of these clusters could begin to rotate. So if you're anywhere along this area, you need to be hyper weather aware, because we could actually see a tornado at any given moment out in this area. It's going to be very difficult to spot these from radar. Very, very difficult. Not only because, well, frankly, our radar coverage is garbage, but also because the mountains are going to be interfering with our radar data and making it more difficult for us to see what these storms are doing closer to the surface. Let's see. Let's go back up here. This is still severe. I have to imagine that it's on tilt 4. Yeah. So there's your severe storm over how do you pronounce that? Lindenville? Lindenville? Almost wanted to say Londonville. Out here in northeastern Vermont, northwestern New Hampshire. I believe that's in northeastern Vermont. I don't think that's in New Hampshire just yet. Yeah, I don't think so. Is not in New Hampshire just yet. We'll be getting a new SPC outlook here in about 23 minutes. Haley, for the first time, I believe me and my family are planning to do a barbecue for the 4th of July. Typically, we go and just try to find local fireworks, but I think we're doing a barbecue this year. Let's see here. Is that the new MCD? I didn't read the discussion in that. Let's see. Storms have developed across eastern New York into north central Vermont. These storms have developed with locally more favorable environments, featuring southerly surface winds and temperatures into the 80s with dew points into the low to mid 70s. In close proximity to the east and northeast, advancing warm front and in terrain favored locations where more backed winds can remain, a greater tornado threat may exist through this afternoon. That was for the next 21 minutes here. That MCD is expiring in 21 minutes. Oh, I was going to look for my parents, tell them if it was going to rain out for 4th of July. Because my forecast app said it's going to rain for the 4th of July out here, and it was going to be severe storms. I'm like, really? 250 hours out, you're telling me there's going to be severe storms? We can't even forecast 2 hours out, let alone 250. Well, models currently do show rain on the 4th of July. Very light rain. But it is rain. Now, what do ensembles show? See, that's where it matters. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 out of 20 ensembles show it raining. 4 out of 20 show it raining. And you're telling me they have severe storms in the forecast? That's the Weather Channel for you, man. Maybe a bit of an upper level mezzo with this storm towards a Ludlow. Definitely not anything over the top here. But maybe a small area rotation out here towards Perkinsville. I would not be concerned about it unless the storm goes toward possible. Really no reason to even mention it much. Back down here to West Virginia, where we have our tornado warning. This is south of Wheeling, out towards the Bethlehem area, north of Moundsville, West Virginia. This will go into a very small tip of Pennsylvania, and it is pretty much already moving out of this region of Ohio. So if you're out here in this portion of the tornado warning in eastern Ohio, you're done with the threat for a tornado, but still remain in your safe spot until that warning is lifted. You never want to come out of your safe spot until that warning is either canceled or completely lifted from your area. Regardless, if you're in a tornado warning, you need to be seeking shelter. Don't be like TRG and run into the car and go chase it. That's a dumb idea. I want to see this storm in Ohio. There's definitely a few pockets where we could see 60-mile-an-hour winds along this area of severe storms from near the Richfield area in Ohio towards Burton, Ohio. That's east of Cleveland currently. And beyond that, I mean, we're just going to keep an eye on these storms. Like I said, it's a very conditional threat out here. It's going to take a while for these to get going. We're not going to just, start the stream at 3 o'clock and have tornadoes on the ground by 3:30. That's not what's going to happen. It's going to take a good 2 hours. So that's why I was saying after 5 p.m. is what you're really looking at. 5 p.m. Eastern for that tornado threat to begin. Really kicking up there. Yay! I'm gonna have to send that to Lucky. Give me just a second. Okay. Any possibility for a tornado in... Jeez. Oh my goodness. Why don't you give me more town names there? It's definitely possible, but low. Pretty much if you're in New York, you've got a risk for tornadoes. This is the only tip in New York that's not inside the risk for tornadoes, these little 2 tips here. So you're in a risk for tornadoes. However, I believe the main threat's already past you. Where is Albany? Yeah, Albany's over here. So the main threat has passed you. There's still some more storms that could head your way, but that main tornado threat is done. Even though you are in, quite the notable threat, you're in a 5% there. So I'd still remain hyper weather aware until that tornado watch is lifted in 4 hours, 17 minutes. But yeah, your threat should pretty much be done. Yeah, new models do have a thunderstorm moving over you at about 7 o'clock tonight. But I wouldn't count on that being anything notable or significant. Michael, maybe you could get in on a marginal for Wednesday. It's far out, so like I said, we're just really going to have to wait and see. what models show after tomorrow's severe threat. So we're really not going to know what Wednesday is going to look like until, actually, I'll refrain that, Tuesday. Tuesday night is when we should really get an idea of what Wednesday's threat could be. Tomorrow's very iffy as well. Tomorrow actually has a high-end environment. It's just capped out, so it's just a matter of if storms can fire around 5, 6 o'clock and really grow upscale before that capping builds in close to about 8 tomorrow. There's a special weather statement off to my east. 40-mile-an-hour winds, pea-sized tail. Yeah, not gonna chase that. That's actually already, believe it or not, that's already like 2 hours from me. South Boston is like 2.5 hours, I think, from me. It's probably 2 hours. Matter of fact, I'll just check so that way I can tell you. Might as well just give you my address while I'm at it. Let's see. Kind of don't want this. Give me just a second. Yeah, it's about an hour and 15 minutes from me. That's actually not as bad as I thought. I thought it was like 2 hours. But it's actually about an hour 15. I'm very surprised it's not that far, actually. That's not bad at all. So these are just messy clusters at this point. Main threat with this will be isolated damaging winds and large hail up to about 1.5 inches in diameter. Your main tornado threat, again, is going to come after 5 p.m. from these storms here as they move into that environment in southern New Hampshire. So, severe weather lover, I don't know if you happen to leave the stream, but you're really looking at probably 6 o'clock Eastern for your threat for severe weather. We'll probably see an MCD regarding a threat for, tornadoes continuing here. Another report of trees down. So we're actually getting a small amount of reports of damaging winds that has occurred. I think that's our 3rd one today. Oh, my bad. That's our 8th one today. Yeah, we had some in southern New York and extreme northeast Pennsylvania, and then a little bundle of about 6 of them in northeast New York and northern Vermont. Oh, what just happened there? I looked away for a second. The MCD back out in this area just expired, so it doesn't seem like they're going to issue a severe watch out here. If they do, it's going to be a very low-end severe thunderstorm watch, regardless. We should see the SPC outlook shortly. I anticipate that they will maintain the enhanced risk. If they don't, I'd be pretty surprised. Most of our risk should be maintained. I don't think we'll see much of a change. Wait, was that the new risk that came in? It was. That's what changed. So they've now pushed that 10% tornado risk all the way to just the southern portion of the risk area. That is what we should have seen originally, in my opinion. Not really as far north as I thought. Honestly, I'm thinking more of this whole area for the greatest tornado risk. But there you go. That's a severe. That's probably going to be the storm that we have to watch today. So there's your new percent tornado risk there. They still kept most of the 2%, if not near all of it. Same with the 5%. The 10% tornado risk is now confined further to the south. Personal opinion, I think it should be for more of this area here. Maybe even more of this region here. I don't really see the tornado threat being all that high now. I think it's going to be, again, after 5 p.m. or right around 5 p.m. Once these storms get towards the Concord area in this region here. The wind threat, they still maintained a... Ooh, that almost looks larger. But anyways, the wind threat, they still maintain a very large enhanced risk for damaging winds. The hail threat, still a large 5%. Look at that 5%, man. That 5% goes from almost Little Rock all the way up to South Central Maine. That is a big 5%. That's for hail. Again, not tornadoes or wind. That's for hail. This... Is this even the 5% for hail? Yeah, it is. Okay, yeah, it is. They actually extended that more. That 5% now goes all the way towards Little Rock. That's a new extension. Wow. The wind threat is actually for... Uh-oh.
Tornado warning for South Central Oneida County in central New York.
My friend lives there.
Southeastern Madison County in central New York, Madison, and Oneida County in New York.
Give me a brief moment while I notify this dude I haven't talked to in 8 months. Yeah, okay. Well, there you go. That's a new tornado warning. Like I said, I mean, it's just these little areas, these tiny little areas that are starting to rotate. Not anything that's, tornado is on the ground type thing. But, I mean, one could be a tornado warning means a tornado's on the ground. Imminent or on the ground, my bad. A tornado warning means a tornado is imminent or on the ground. And, I mean, that just doesn't seem like much of a crazy area of rotation. So, tornado is imminent or possibly even on the ground. I wonder what they say on the warning text here. Yeah, so obviously a tornado warning means a tornado is imminent. Yeah. Severe storm capable of producing a tornado was located over Lebanon or near Hamilton, I believe. So I say that moving east at 50. So keep that in mind. Every single tornado warning, unless it's an upgrade, but radar indicated tornado warnings mean that a tornado is imminent or possibly even on the ground, because like I explained yesterday, in order for us to know that there's a tornado on the ground, there has to have already been a tornado on the ground. Doesn't that kind of make sense there? This storm in Pennsylvania, going into Pennsylvania, I may just move this radar site to New York, unless I already have one up there. Get out of here, Discord. I don't think I do. Is this it? Where's this radar site at? Oh, no, this is it. Okay. So there's your little area of rotation. Is that the closest radar site, though? I think so. So there's your little area of rotation. I mean, literally barely even rotating now. That's going towards Hamilton out there in New York. Just make sure you're in your safe spot. We may have another small area rotation back towards Morrisville as well. These are just very small areas capable of producing very brief, weak tornadoes. If we see a tornado out of these, they're probably going to go undetected by radar. We most likely won't see any type of big debris signature from them. They'll probably be very brief, very weak hold on a second. Very brief and very weak in intensity. What? Yeah, I think we just got a PDS watch in Canada. I'm pretty sure this is a PDS tornado watch in Canada. This is a dangerous and potentially life-threatening situation. Wow. I believe that is a PDS tornado watch in Canada. That's something. Wow. It's just the long cold front. That's it, Pokey. It's a very low wind risk for isolated damaging winds and small hail. It's just because your cold front is so large here. That's crazy. PDS watching Canada. I almost feel like that's not PDS. I feel like that might just be the normal wording of a tornado watch in Canada. But that is a PDS wording. PDS means it's a particularly dangerous situation, and this is a dangerous and potentially life-threatening situation. Maybe covering a little bit of Canada today, never know. So again, this risk, I feel like the greatest tornado risk is going to be with this storm in about an hour or so. It's probably going to start to really get ramping up towards Hillsborough and Concord, I think, is where we're going to be seeing this storm intensify. There's a good chance it barely does a thing, but we'll see what that looks like once we get there. And I think my HRRR model's glitched out here. It indeed is. It said that 20Z was already rendering from today. That is not true. June 26th, so I can already tell you that's too far out, but I will try to provide a bit better information than that. So that's Wednesday, actually. Again, this is one of those type systems where we just have to wait until the risk before is over to figure out the risk the next day. So that's, what did I say? That's day 4. There's a lot of uncertainty on where the severe risk is going to be placed. It could be anywhere from back in Arkansas all the way to potentially Massachusetts, potentially all the way south to Georgia. So, I mean, we're just really watching this big area here for the potential of severe storms. And let me just show you that. This big area here. This area is going to shrink. We're probably going to end up with like a tiny marginal risk probably out in this area. So this is just the region I'm keeping an eye on, because what we're going to be seeing is we're going to see a line of thunderstorms here on Monday, most likely. That's going to push to the southeast on Tuesday. And then after that, there's uncertainty on what's going to happen. The cold front could help ignite more thunderstorms up here. It could help ignite thunderstorms back out here. It could just, that line could just continue into Tennessee, North Carolina, and Virginia. So there's a lot of different scenarios for Wednesday's severe threat. Very hit or miss, yes. You're not in a risk currently, but I will update y'all tomorrow on Monday's, or rather Wednesday's severe weather threat, because we will be attempting to go live tomorrow night. I'm not promising it, but I'm going to try to go live tomorrow night. Phone just alerted a warning in southern Vermont. Yep, that is a severe thunderstorm warning for the next 19 minutes, 0.75-inch hail, 60-mile-an-hour winds for Wilmington, Dover, Bennington. You're going to get me on these pronunciations. Wardsboro. Just make sure you guys are indoors, away from doors and windows there. Yeah, still a little bit of an area of rotation over Hamilton. This might actually be a little bit stronger now. Let me try to find the right radar site. Bear with me. Here we go. Yeah, that might be a little bit stronger. Maybe looking at 50-mile-an-hour rotation there. So definitely want to be in your safe spot again. Let me say this again, because I know I screwed it up last time. I confused my words, because apparently I don't know how to speak English. A tornado warning means a tornado is imminent or possibly even on the ground. So this is a radar indicated warning. It's a radar indicated tornado warning, which means a tornado is imminent or possibly even on the ground. Now, if the warning goes blue, that's observed. That means a tornado is on the ground. But this warning is not blue. It is red. So red is a radar indicated warning. At least on this channel, red's a radar indicated warning, meaning a tornado is imminent or possibly even on the ground. A blue warning means a tornado is on the ground. If you happen to see it, which we saw 3 or 4 of them yesterday, a PDS tornado warning means that a strong tornado, a large and strong tornado, is on the ground and is heading towards a populated area. And then if you manage to see a pink and a black polygon, that is a tornado emergency, meaning a catastrophic situation could be ongoing for a highly populated area, as a large, intense tornado is heading right for a populated region. We have seen like 14 of those this year, which is absurd. I'm pretty sure this year is leading in the most significant tornadoes out of any year on record. I believe. I don't know that, but I heard that. Let's see. What year has the most EF or F2 plus tornadoes? Let's see. Doesn't say. I imagine the highest one's probably 2011, maybe 2013, probably 2011. Let's see. I keep getting different answers with every single thing I look at here. Some say 1925, others say 1896, and others say 2011, and others say 2013, so there's no definitive answer from what I'm seeing. Let me look and see if Noah has it. Nope. But I did hear that this year's leading in the most significant tornadoes. But just kind of take that with a grain of salt, because I'm not 100% sure on that. See you later, Pokey. Thanks for tuning in. If you could, leave a like on your way out. If not, perfectly fine. Let's see. What stays so long in western Pennsylvania for that severe storm watch? I don't believe it's coming out. I don't think it's coming out. They canceled they allowed the MCD to expire, which typically means they're not going to issue the watch. So I don't believe they plan on issuing the severe thunderstorm watch. And if they do, it will be very low end. But regardless of if they issue it or not, you still have the risk for a tornado or two, damaging winds up to 60, and isolated large hail up to an inch in diameter. Memphis, Tennessee. You're in a very low risk. Isolated small hail and isolated damaging wind gusts will be possible, but are not anticipated. A very low chance to see much of anything, but again, can't completely rule it out today. Your main risk may end up being on Wednesday. However, that's a little too far out to determine. Some models are just really all over the place, honestly. Models are honestly all over the place there for Wednesday. Yeah, it is a PDS tornado watch in Canada. That's something. So if we happen to have anybody from southern and central Saskatchewan up here in Canada, this is a particularly dangerous situation. Tornado watch, PDS tornado watch. I do not know how common they are up here in Canada. This is a level 2 out of 4 for severe weather in Canada, so it is not that high end of a threat. It's about equivalent to a low end enhanced risk in our categorical risks. They consider this an elevated risk for severe weather. So, yeah, we'll keep an eye on that area if we manage to be alive when anything starts firing up there. But I'm not too surprised they put a PDS watch on that. I mean, honestly, it's not the worst environment. That is going to be a new tornado warning, so get ready. We're going to have a beep here shortly. Oh. Oh, my goodness.
Tornado warning for
Hold on.
southwestern Broome County in central New York, Broome County in New York.
Yeah, we may have a big issue here. Where is that? Okay, that's the southern radar site. Oh, wow. There may be a tornado on the ground here. It's very hard to tell with the radar presentation. Gracious, I wasn't even watching this far to the south here. So again, this is now a tornado warning. So a tornado's imminent, possibly even on the ground here. There's your warning, just came through a little bit late on this program. The reason why I said hold on is because I thought that blue might have just been a debris signature. I don't believe it is, but this is very close to the radar site, so the radar coverage is going to be a bit difficult to see with this storm. So tornado is imminent or possibly even on the ground if you are in this warned area. This is in southern New York for a very populated area. A very, very populated area. Let me see. I want to check the how many people are in that. My guess, 200K. 147,443 people are inside that new tornado warning. 30 schools and 3 hospitals. So that is a normal tornado warning. That's a normal tornado warning, a red one. So that means that it is a tornado is imminent or possibly even on the ground. If this is a debris signature, we're going to know pretty soon because there's no way 140-some thousand people are seeking shelter from this. That's just unrealistic expectations there. I wish that was the case, but I know them lawn dads are going to be out and about looking for a tornado now. They heard that over their TV and went, I got to go outside and check if there's a tornado. I'm very much against that, but we'll keep an eye on it. Gracious day. So again, this could easily be on the ground. It's so close to the radar site that it's hard to tell. The CC's most likely all contaminated. I don't see... Oh my goodness. I don't see anything that's like really over the top on CC and makes me think that this is on the ground. But it very well could be. Regardless, talk about a hook echo. It's difficult to depict the exact look of this, but generally this is what you're looking at. I believe this is going to be a classic miniature supercell here. Let me see if it even is miniature. Hold on. So make sure you're in your safe spot. This is in southern New York for those of you who may just be joining and are like, where the heck is he talking about? This is in southern New York going towards Johnson City. This is in New York again. This is in New York. South Central New York. We do have another tornado warning in central New York, south of Waterville as well. So 2 tornado warnings, both in New York at this moment. That storm exploded too. This one right here in southern New York. This thing exploded, dude. This is definitely the most rapid intensification we've seen today. But it's not that crazy. Even for the Northeast, this isn't too over the top. This is in New York, so it's not that uncommon to see a tornado out here in New York. Now, the reason why today's risk is rare is because we actually have the risk for tornadoes in, Lord have mercy, in New Hampshire and Massachusetts. So that's another possible severe there going towards Montpelier, south of Burlington. I'm pretty sure this area was recently under a tornado warning today, if not a little bit closer, a little bit further to the east, rather. So that's possible if you're inside this yellow polygon. That's a severe thunderstorm warning. This particular severe thunderstorm warning is warned for 60-mile-an-hour winds, 0.75-inch hail, and the potential for a tornado. So, long story short, if you're in that severe, stay away from doors and windows and stay close to your safe spot, as this could drop a tornado. Oh boy. The new HRRR model has the potential for a significant tornado with this storm. Right here. Storm we've been talking about for over an hour now. So we'll see what this looks like at 5 o'clock. It looks like over the next 30 minutes, this storm should be on an intensifying stage here. So early heads up, our greatest tornado threat is exactly where I was anticipating it to be. I thought it was going to be a little bit west of Concord, but it seems like it's going to be for Concord, pointing in pretty much every direction. This whole area here. So this, by the way, this was my target area for yesterday. I pointed out Keene Don't know how you really say that. For New Hampshire, I hope some of y'all remember that. That is the target area that I was talking about yesterday for today. So we'll see if that manages to do anything. Let's go over to that tornado warning again. If I can find the right radar site, bear with me. Give me about 40 seconds. I'll eventually click the right one. There it is. So again, a tornado is imminent or possibly even on the ground out here in near Johnson City, if not over Johnson City, New York. That's south central New York. Check south of Binghamton. Sounds like they combined like 15 different names for that. Are you talking about this one? Which one are you talking about here, dude? I don't exactly know what you're talking about there. Let's see. For New Jersey, you're in the risk maybe 4 tornadoes. If you're in extreme northern New Jersey, actually quite a good chunk of New Jersey there. That's where you're at a 2% chance for tornadoes. So if you're in that area, damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour. Isolated hail up to 1/2 inch in diameter will be possible. And a brief tornado can't be completely ruled out, but is by no means anticipated here. So it's definitely possible, but not anticipated. Timing for that will be later on tonight, closer to 9, 10 o'clock Eastern. The tornado watch was just expanded further to the south due to additional supercell development in southeastern New York. Those storms will be moving into a decently favorable environment as well. Those are definitely going to have to be cells we keep an eye on because they are discrete. So multiple areas to keep an eye on in and around our main risk area. We're definitely going to keep an eye on that one. Still the storm I've been calling out for a while. Want to keep an eye on that. HRRR has it potentially being a significant tornado. And then also going to keep an eye on the northern portion as well. So we'll continue to keep an eye on this threat. The new mesoanalysis should be in now. And it is a very favorable environment in southern New Hampshire now. And they just went severe on that. These are definitely... this is going into a really favorable environment in central Massachusetts. This is going into still a very favorable environment. Not the most favorable, but still favorable going into southern New Hampshire. So both of these are going into a really good environment in terms for a tornado risk. Now, strong tornado risk... maybe at least present, but
Tornado warning for
the highest.
southwestern Washington County in southwestern Pennsylvania, northwestern Greene County in southwestern Pennsylvania, Greene, and Washington County in Pennsylvania.
That is another tornado warning. That's going to be 4 tornado warnings active. So this is our third one. You're about to hear a 4th beep here. It's an extension in the central New York tornado warning. So potential for a tornado to be on the ground. If not, tornadoes imminent out here. North of
Tornado
Waynesburg,
warning for south central Oneida County in central New York, northwestern Otsego County in central New York, eastern Madison County in central New York, Madison, Oneida, and Otsego County in New York.
So a tornado once again is imminent or possibly even on the ground out here. It's going to be an extension west of Winfield in central New York. So make sure you're in your safe spot as well. And back to this tornado warning towards Binghamton. Okay, let me check the analysis radar on that. Still don't believe this is on the ground, but we'll continue to keep an eye on that. Nothing is observed at this moment. Do we not have a radar site out here? I guess we don't. In southeast New York. They may issue a tornado warning on this storm towards Heinsberg and Starksboro, Vermont. We are getting a little bit more of a definitive, I guess we'll call that a hook. I guess we'll call that a hook echo there. So we could see a tornado warning come through for that if it continues to intensify. That is in Vermont. You should be pretty much good to go, leap year. It's still an isolated threat for some rain showers and rumbles of thunder, but the main threat is now past you. This could ramp up very fast towards Binghamton, so very, very important that you are in your safe spot if you're in any of these tornado warnings, but especially this one in Binghamton, South Central New York. I'm sure I'm butchering that like crazy. Most definitely butchering that. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. Okay, let me go over here. So we'll continue to watch these storms here. A lot of storms popping off. We're up to 4 tornado warnings and 11 severes. That does include the 3 severes in Canada as well. Let's see if any of these are interesting anymore. Not really. Not really. In terms of Canada weather, I'm going to be paying more attention to the particularly dangerous situation tornado watch that was just issued out here in Saskatchewan for the potential of strong tornadoes later today. Oh, now that's pretty interesting. This is in southern Alberta, Canada. Probably a bit of hail dropping with that. All right, back to our tornado warnings in the U.S. Sorry, I'm going all over the place. This is out here southwestern Pennsylvania, just barely north of Waynesburg, Pennsylvania. Very tiny area of rotation, maybe not much at all. Very shocked they warned that because it's barely even rotating. This is south of, holy moly, south of Washington, Pennsylvania. Make sure you're in your safe spot. I really don't see much of a reason for that tornado warning, but hey, better safe than sorry. They did issue that tornado warning. Or even is a radar site up here. Hold on, let me flash the radar sites. Okay. This isn't a perfect radar hole. There isn't really a good radar site to look at this one. But at any second, we could have a tornado on the ground here towards Winfield. If this storm's going to produce a tornado, it's probably going to be in the next 10, maybe 15 minutes before it gets embedded inside all those rain showers. But we'll see if that manages to stay tornadic after it's embedded in all those rain showers. Still watching this storm in Vermont. We don't have a tornado warning on it just yet. But we'll be keeping an eye on that. It is tornado possible, so if you're out here in Waterbury, northern Vermont, make sure you are indoors, away from doors and windows, close to your safe spot. This is a tornado possible severe, which means a tornado could develop in any given second. And if they find a more notable area of rotation, they will issue a tornado warning. Depending on how the National Weather Service feels. Okay, let's go back to, shoot, I don't even know where to go now. This storm's sub-severe now out here towards the, Brattleboro area? Southeastern Vermont, southwestern New Hampshire. Again, this should start to intensify around 5 p.m. and it may become our primary tornado threat. So watching that closely. Down to 3 tornado warnings now. Our next tornado warning to expire will be 2 tornado warnings in 13 more minutes if neither one is continued. That's both of these in New York. That will expire in 13 minutes. I think the most interesting storm is that cell in the radar hole. Let's see what our closest radar is. This one is 57, 64, 63. So the one in Binghamton, that radar site's the closest. So there's your area of rotation out here in Bridgewater, New York, central New York. Very small area of rotation there inside a radar hole. So we'll continue to monitor that, and we will see. We'll see if they extend that tornado warning, which I wouldn't be shocked if they do. Let me see here. Trying to look for our highest tornado threat, y'all. Trying to spot anything else in the meso analysis out here that may be of key feature for a more elevated tornado threat. The risk for a tornado is very low back up here in this area. We've already had multiple rounds of storms roll through in this general vicinity, so I don't believe we'll see much tornadic activity up here unless it comes from this storm right here. But other than that cell, I don't think we'll see much tornadic activity up here in northern New Hampshire, northeastern Vermont, northwestern Maine, unless we can get a more rapid destabilization ongoing up here, which at this moment is not really anticipated. So I think our main tornado threat is really going to stick generally in this vicinity here. Generally that area. I know I keep changing it every time. It's because I can't draw the same circle over and over again. But that's where I'm watching. Yeah, I really wouldn't be shocked, Kevin, if they tornado warn that. I was talking about that before. And it is trying its best to ramp up here. It is trying its best to ramp up. See that little area of green and red right here? It's trying to ramp up. So keep an eye on that. That again looks like a potential for a tornado. It is a possible severe, not tornado warned at this moment. So we'll just wait and see if they end up issuing that tornado warning or not. It looks like this storm's broken up quite a lot in southern New York. Probably not the most favorable environment out here. Yeah, no. It's not that favorable for tornadoes out here. Your most favorable environment, I'll give it a good old circle for you. According to the latest meso-analysis, is right here. According to the latest meso-analysis, this is your most favorable environment for tornadoes currently. Generally that area. With the most favorable environment being really focused out here in central Massachusetts. I should say western Massachusetts, northwestern Connecticut, which is right out in front of those, that cluster of semi-discrete storms in southeast New York. See if we can take a look at that. I think that's in a radar hole as well. Let me go to the Albany radar site. Let me look up on that. Doesn't look like anything too crazy at this moment towards the Pleasant Valley area in southeastern New York. But these storms could definitely become an issue in about an hour or so, maybe even a little less than that, as they move into that more favorable environment towards northwestern Connecticut, which is actually very, very favorable. So just because they're in the very favorable environment, it doesn't mean you're gonna see a tornado. That favorable environment is really in most of eastern New York. Let me check again. Pretty much all of Massachusetts. I mean, really, pretty much all of Massachusetts, Connecticut, northern Rhode Island, southern New Hampshire, central southern Vermont, and a good chunk of southeastern New York as well. But in order to see a tornado, what do you have to have? A storm. You have to have a storm. So if we don't have a storm, probably not going to do, well, it can't do anything tornadic because there's no storm. So that's why I'm keeping an eye on this area and this area the most, because not only are they in a good environment, but they're also already thunderstorms. So areas I'll call out here, watching the closest towards the Torrington area, northwestern Connecticut, later down the line in about an hour, like I said. Torrington, Springfield, very difficult areas to pronounce. Probably very easy, honestly. Westfield, East Hampton, come on now. We can pronounce some of these. Lynchfield, that's where I'm watching as this storm here is going to move up to the northeast. And they just re-severed our storm that I think is our biggest issue today. It's not possible just yet. So that's now severe for my target area. This was my target area today out here in Keene, southwestern New Hampshire. So we'll be monitoring that closely. Let's go look at that storm in Vermont. We'll look at that with a better radar sight. Still a little area of rotation there. Just to show you the products I switch between. So this is reflectivity. Basically, long story short, it detects rain and hail. This is velocity. It detects winds. This is NROT. It detects areas of rotation as long as it's not contaminated like that. That is a contamination slot at the top left corner of your screen, right up here where my cursor is. Then this is correlation coefficient. It can detect hail and tornadoes. I should say hail and tornadic debris, as well as, you know, if damaging winds manages to produce damage. We've seen debris from damaging winds before on correlation coefficient. Most of these products, you have to be very careful with what you're looking at, though, because they're very difficult and very easy to spot areas of contamination and radar interruption, and just overall difficult products to use. But once you get the hang of it, you could pretty much get really good at it in a matter of a month. Maybe even less than that. Yeah, still watching this storm, I would really not be shocked if this gets tornado warned again. I mean, some of these storms just look pretty good from far away on the radar sites in terms of a reflectivity standpoint, but we'll see what happens with it. It's not Tor possible, I don't believe. That's the wrong storm. Yeah, not Tor possible, but it is warned for 1-inch hail. I sure did, Indiana. We talked about that in yesterday's stream. They did cancel that tornado warning towards the Johnson City area in New York, as this storm has rapidly begun weakening now. And they just canceled that one in New York. Did you see me click that? I literally tried to click that as they canceled it. So there's still a decent area of upper level rotation on that, but it just seems like that area of rotation is more upper. It's more into the higher levels of the atmosphere, about 9,000 feet up, and it's not translating to the ground. If it is, they'll reissue that tornado warning. So we're left with one tornado warning at this point. I don't think it's going to last that much longer. Back out here south of Washington and southwestern New York. Or southwestern Pennsylvania, my bad. Southwest Pennsylvania. Yeah, Pete, I thought they were going to delay the race, but it seems like they may be able to fit it in since these storms are taking their sweet time. My driver led the first lap, and then he got in on an incident about 10 minutes ago. Another caution flag 10 seconds ago. So, yeah, the race is... Actually, the race may be encountering rain now. They may be encountering some light rain now. I believe it's north of Concord. New Hampshire. Motor Speedway. Yeah, there is a rain shower heading right for their area. Uh-oh. If you happen to be, that would be a God-given miracle, but if you happen to be at the Speedway northeast of Concord watching the NASCAR race out there, there's a rain shower that's going to occur in about 5 minutes out there. How many laps are they in, Pete? How many to go, if you know? Let's see. Yeah, Severe Weather Lover. Glad to see you back in here. I don't know if you just left your computer for a second or something, but I do believe you're in the greatest tornado risk now. We've got this semi-discrete supercell that's moving up your way. The environment's going to get more favorable the more northeast it moves. The environment's continuing to destabilize out here. Primary tornado threat will be about 5 p.m. Eastern is when that should start kicking up. I think the peak tornado threat today is going to be 6. Actually, let me look at this again. 6 p.m. Yes. I think 5 to 7 p.m. is your peak tornado time frame. Let me check that area. Hopefully you're in northern New Hampshire. Okay, you are in southern New Hampshire, so that's a bit of a difficult spot. There's kind of 2 storms I'd watch. I think this storm's going to avoid you, but I'd still keep an eye on it just in case, and I'd also be keeping an eye on this cell too as it moves all the way up towards your area. Personally, I believe these storms are going to go north and south of you, so you should be okay. But if you manage to get under a storm, there's a risk for 60-mile-an-hour winds, 1-inch hail, and even a tornado out here. But I feel like storms are going to go to your north and to your south. Probably going to be a pretty close call between the two. So we'll wait for this tornado warning to expire. It's got 16 more minutes on it unless they decide to cancel it. Pretty good look from it. Very classic miniature supercell out here. Miniature is an understatement for this thing. This thing's a freaking micro supercell. Got to take a microscope out just to see it. Very, very tiny supercell here. Rotating just barely near the Rough Creek area, southwest Pennsylvania. So we'll be keeping an eye on that, and I will let y'all know, if it manages to form a bigger hook like that. This could quite easily produce a tornado. You can see that hook echo is very, very much there. Oh, Bubba's a good racer. I like Bubba as well. Bubba Wallace. So we'll continue to watch that very closely because that could produce a tornado at any given second. So we'll be keeping an eye on that. Let's see here. Uh-oh. We have reports. We have reports coming in of people fussing about coverage. And, what storm is this? I don't know what storm this is. I believe this is the tornado warning we had in northern West Virginia about 50 minutes ago. We have reports of people fussing about tornado coverage instead of watching their golf game. That's probably the most notable report we've seen today. People not wanting to watch tornado coverage on their TV. They're being forced to watch it. It's probably back on now. I hope it stays off, though. Hope it gets a rain delay. Wish it on him real quick. Severe thunderstorm watch was just issued where? We're about to find out. This is going to include most of Pennsylvania, southeastern New York, eastern Ohio, northern West Virginia, portions of, I believe that's going to be New Jersey. Yep, that's going to be New Jersey. As well as Connecticut. The tornado watch was just expanded, actually, I believe I already said that. It was expanded further to the south towards Connecticut, towards Hartford. But we did just see that severe thunderstorm watch issued here in southeastern New York, all the way. That's a big severe watch. Let me turn off the MCD so you can see that. So this yellow outline here is where we just saw a severe thunderstorm watch issue just seconds ago. The main potential with this, let me go check for you. Give me just one more second here. A couple tornadoes possible. Wow. That is, that's not severe thunderstorm watch wording, buddy. Couple tornadoes possible. Isolated ping-pong-sized hail possible. 70-mile-an-hour winds likely, which means 75-mile-an-hour winds will be possible. So winds seem to be the main hazard here. Followed by hail, and then tornadoes, yeah. There's a 40% chance, or actually, let me reframe that. 20% chance for 2 or more tornadoes. 20% chance for 2 or more tornadoes. So 20% chance for 2 or more tornadoes in that yellow watch that just got issued. Still at a tornado warning. This storm in Vermont, by the way, it looks to be going discrete mode, and it is now going over. That should, honestly, in my opinion, be tornado warned. This is going discrete mode into the mountains here. That has definitely begun to increase in rotation up here in Vermont, west of Waterbury. You can see that is a quite classic supercell. This might even, I would not be shocked if this is on the ground. Flanking line of convection, you've got your inflow notch here, hook echo here. The rest of your supercell all back up in this area. And there's your hook echo again. I would not be shocked if this is on the ground at all. Let me see. Hold on. We're going to go 4-panel for this. We are going to go 4-panel here. Hopefully this actually goes 4-panel. Nope. You guys can see Twitter now. Let me switch that. Let me see here. 4-panel. You guys are going to go over to this one. Okay. Now I can switch you to 4-panel. We're going to increase this tilt to 1.8. We got to go higher up in elevation, so it's a little annoying. 1.3 there. NROT, we're going to go up to 1.3. And correlation coefficient, I'm not really sure where to go for correlation coefficient, honestly. Oh. When was that CC scan? Hold on. When was this CC scan? Okay, that is not a debris signature. I just had to check. That was pretty interesting there. Alright, let's go back to our main scene. That way my camera's not so tiny down here. It looks so weird. It looks so weird having a tiny camera like that. Okay, now I can pull up Twitter again. The reason why that scene was screwed up is because yesterday we went live and my main monitor was set to the other live stream. Or the other... Man. My monitor was set to... The main monitor was set to my other monitor. My word, English. So instead of this monitor being my primary monitor here, the one on my right was my primary monitor, so it probably screwed up other scenes as well. I'm probably going to have to go back and fix all that junk. New mesoscale discussion. Isolated, scattered, strong to severe storms have produced isolated wind damage across eastern New York and into Vermont this afternoon. The environment across the region has continued to improve with mid-70 dew points now into the southern portion of Vermont, which is absurd for this time of year. Absurd for any time of year, matter of fact. And New Hampshire. Some more stronger lower level flow across the region. Depicted by the ENX VWP, shows over 200 0 to 1 kilometer shear in place, which will support the potential for organizing updrafts and a tornado threat into the evening. Several rounds of severe storms may be possible as another round moves through later on this evening in New York and Vermont border vicinity, which may intensify as they move closer to the east portion of Vermont, and another cluster into central New York, which may occur as well. Let's see here. As the environment continues to improve further to the east this evening. This may, honestly, I would not be shocked again if this is a tornado on the ground, so it's best just to be in your safe spot if you're in and around this area. It's tour possible, so that means you want to take the precaution and be close to your safe spot, but honestly, I would just be in my safe spot because there's no point in risking it. There's no reports of this on the ground or anything like that. It's just this supercell looks pretty darn good up here in northwestern Vermont. I just lost English for a while there. My goodness. This storm in Pennsylvania, southwest Pennsylvania, is still rotating. They may extend that tornado warning more because it's pushing off to the east and it is still rotating. So I wouldn't be shocked to see another tornado warning come in shortly for in and around the Clarksville area. Race stopped, yep. Probably some rain. Probably going to pull a red flag at any second if they haven't already. I predicted it. I said it on Twitter yesterday that I predicted multiple delays and or a red flag tomorrow, which is today. Look at that. I can predict the weather and the flags on a NASCAR race. I'm so good. This is intensifying quite a lot here. Depending on what wind shear we have in place, this is going to have the potential to produce a tornado. There you go. Tor possible as well as 1.7 or rather 1.25 inch hail with this. So that is notable hail and a Tor possible tag with that now. And it is 4:38. A little bit sooner than anticipated, but honestly, We're probably going to be looking at closer to 5 o'clock before this thing actually becomes tornadic. The European model wants a very significant MCS to derecho on Wednesday for the Northeast. If that does occur, I will consider chasing in Pennsylvania on Wednesday. That is a new tornado warning. What misinformation? If you're talking about INRI, I believe that person was talking about yesterday for twin tornadoes.
Tornado warning for southeastern Washington County in southwestern Pennsylvania, northeastern Greene County in southwestern Pennsylvania, northwestern Fayette County in southwestern Pennsylvania, Fayette, Greene, and Washington County in Pennsylvania.
So this isn't the storm that just got extended for a tornado warning, but my word, this is a supercell already. This is the storm that I was talking about a while ago as well, out here in southeast New York, with it moving into that favorable environment. This thing's probably not going to wait until northwest Connecticut to put down a tornado. This is most likely already trying to produce a tornado there. So make sure you are at least close to your safe spot if you're in this area. This is northwest Connecticut, extreme east, southeastern New York. Did they put Tor Possible on this? Not yet. They haven't put Tor Possible on it just yet, but honestly, I would be very close to my safe spot if I'm there. The whole point in me being live talking about this stuff is to give you my input. So when I see a storm that looks tornadic, I'm going to call it out, and I'm going to tell you, what I think you should do and what I believe is the best. So yeah, the National Weather Service hasn't issued a tornado warning on that, but I do believe it's going to be capable of producing a tornado. If not now, then probably later down the line. And we'll just see. They may not tornado warn that, but that looks pretty darn interesting to me. I mean, you can already see it too. You can see that this is already a classic supercell. Already a classic miniature supercell here. So again, I called out Torrington before. Torrington, you're going to be needing to watch this very, very closely, because this could be producing a tornado over the next 20 minutes or so as this moves your way. It's most likely not producing a tornado now, because we don't have any correlation coefficient and there's no reports there, which we probably would see reports. Possible tornado. I believe that was unwarned in Salem, New York earlier today. Yeah, we could have had an unwarned tornado about 3:15 Eastern. 3:15 Eastern. Could have had an unwarned tornado on the ground. We'll see if they confirm that with any reports later. And here comes your tornado warning. See, this is why I'm here. This is why I'm here. There's your tornado warning now. So if you're west of Torrington, seek shelter. That is a tornado warning now. That's why I'm here, y'all. I'm here to give you the early call-outs. Sometimes hours in advance.
Tornado warning for West Central Litchfield County in northern Connecticut, East Central Dutchess County in East Central New York, Litchfield County in Connecticut, Dutchess County in New York.
So that's now tornado warned, which we called out a very long time ago. I mean, geez, we were talking about that when it first fired. Before it was even severe. We've been talking about this thing for very close to 50 minutes now. And here we are, generally about 50 minutes later, and we have a tornado warning in place. I thought this storm was going to take a bit longer. I thought it was going to be more towards northeast of Torrington before this tried to produce a tornado. But just not waiting, so make sure you are in your safe spot, as this storm is very capable of producing a tornado at any given second. Tornado warning means a tornado is imminent or possibly even on the ground, so make sure you're seeking shelter if you are inside that tornado warning. Really quick, I don't like to do this in the middle of coverages, but we do have quite a few people here, so if you guys could just share this live stream to your family and friends, especially if you know anybody in this risk area here, in the yellow or in the orange, even in the green, but more likely in the yellow and the orange. Make sure you share them this live stream, because we will have the threat for tornadoes, damaging winds, and large hail today. And yeah, also hit that like button so the YouTube algorithm can hopefully do its thing for once and push us out there. So still a tornado warning in effect out here in southwestern Pennsylvania. It looks less impressive now. It was more impressive 5-10 minutes ago. It looks like it's getting disorganized towards the Brownsville area. If you're in that warning, still seek shelter, though. I'm definitely way more interested now in this supercell towards Dover Plains in extreme southeast New York, as well as towards the Kent area in northwestern Connecticut. So this storm's going to be very difficult to see. Both of these storms will be very difficult to see. They're in radar holes, far from any radar sites. So these are both going to be pretty difficult to track. Radar's not going to be too helpful with either one of these cells. If we manage to see a tornado out of either one of these storms, most likely the radar's not going to be able to pick up on it. So keep that in mind as well. Never just rely off of radar. You should never only rely off of radar for anything, period. This looks interesting. This might already be trying to drop a tornado. Before I look at other radar sites, just a heads up to my target area, Keene, New Hampshire. I pointed out that town yesterday afternoon, over 24 hours ago. You want to be very close to your safe spot. That could be already attempting to rotate there. I just want to check other radar sites if we can. So here's the Boston radar site. Definitely looks to be rotating. The one way up in Burlington, which is very, very far away. Not even going to be able to see it. One in southwestern Maine. You can see a little area, maybe, but still way too far away. The one in Albany, that does show it rotating in Keene. So I do believe we have an area of rotation with this storm in southwestern Massachusetts, or southwestern New Hampshire, rather. Southwestern New Hampshire. I'm not used to covering this area, so I apologize with me continuously confusing states. We don't typically cover this portion of the U.S. unless it's for snow. So we'll continue to watch that very, very closely. New Hampshire storm look like it's getting stronger, wrapping up more. I just talked about that. Yes, it does. It definitely does. This is one back here in Dover. This is this may not be a miniature supercell anymore out here in southeastern New York, northwestern and west central Connecticut. This thing might just be a full-fledged supercell now. Skip the miniature. Yeah. Here you go. This is the true color. And I wonder, we can't really do mesoscale here, but there you go. There's your satellite imagery, and look at that. Both of our supercells are blowing up. Both of those are blowing up here. So both of these are becoming full-fledged supercells. Wow. I do, Severe Weather Lover, I do. Well, I try my best, Fate, because, if I get them wrong, people may be like, what in the world is he talking about? What town? So I try. But I typically mispronounce every last town. Yes, you did get under that Severe Thunderstorm Watch, fear with a 4 and a list. Yes, you are under that Severe Thunderstorm Watch. I assume... What severe are you under? Maybe this one? And near Rome? Let me go look at that for you. Oh, it is Tor possible. I don't really see any area of rotation on that, but if you're inside this particular severe, do make sure that you are indoors, away from doors and windows, and very close to your safe spot, just in case we manage to see a tornado warning out of that. Interesting. This half of this storm is severe warned in southeastern Pennsylvania. Literally half of it. Not even half. The tiniest portion of the storm is currently severe warned there. See if we got a new scan in Boston. I did not time you out, but I mean, if you really want me to, I could. The reason why I like to just avoid timeouts unless it's really necessary is because it deletes all the messages you've typed. And sometimes you like to go back and look at those messages. Especially if you call something out. Yeah, NatoCast is just not doing a good job today. I don't know why it's not picked up on pretty much anything that's occurred. Really quick, a tropical depression looks to be possible in the southern Caribbean, as well as maybe even the main development region, as we go into the portions of, or the time frame of like June 25th through July 3rd. Models are starting to pick up on that. I haven't looked, but I guess I'll just look briefly whilst we get new radar scans in here. Oh, I do see that. Yes, I do see a tropical disturbance on June 30th in the main development region and a tropical disturbance in the southern Caribbean on June 27th, June 28th. I don't think that will really impact much of the U.S., honestly. Hey, somebody's near the race today. Lot of rain. Honestly, I do believe that red flag is going to be waving for a hot minute out there. I was talking about that on Twitter yesterday. You're probably not going to stop seeing rain out there. It's going to be a solid hour before this stuff passes. You may get some breaks, but I doubt it. It'll probably be a drizzle throughout most of the 4 to 6 o'clock time frame. It's another tornado warning. Hi.
Tornado warning for
Called it.
southeastern Cheshire County in southern New Hampshire, Cheshire County in New Hampshire.
So you guys had a 25-hour warning from me out here in Keene. I was talking about the potential for tornadoes in Keene, and that was my target area, the most likelihood of a tornado developing for today, yesterday. So you had a 25-hour heads up from me. And if you don't want to count the tweet I made yesterday, and as well as the stuff I said in yesterday's live stream, another tornado warning. 2 hours ago, I talked about this area being the greatest tornado potential. Gracious day. Where's that one going to be? I don't even know where the heck that one is, y'all. Where is that? Hey! Called it! Called that, too. Look at that. I called that one as well. That's the one in Vermont. About time.
Tornado warning for south central Lamoille County in northwestern Vermont, east central Chittenden County in
Holy
northwestern
crap.
Vermont,
Don't have a seizure there,
northwestern
buddy.
Washington County in central Vermont, Chittenden, Lamoille, and Washington County in Vermont.
Gracious day. So, yeah. All three of the warnings that just got issued, we called out every last one of them. We called this one out about 30 minutes ago. We called this one out 26 hours ago. We called this one out about 50 minutes ago. So every last tornado warning that's just been issued, we called out. I think it said Chittenden, Catman, something like that. But it was weird because it's an AI voice. So there's your area of rotation in Keene, southwestern New Hampshire. Again, Keene was my target area. Keene was my target area. You know what? I'm going to make a tweet about that. Hold on. Give me just a second. Okay. Just had a tweet about that. Okay. This storm in southwest Pennsylvania, it doesn't look organized anymore towards Brownsville and Centerville, so we'll just keep an eye on it. It's still tornado warned for 21 more minutes, but it honestly does not look impressive anymore. Let's see here. Still tornado warned in northwest Connecticut. I don't know how long this storm's going to last, but the environment is favorable for an all hazards threat, even beyond Boston. So this thing could be something we have to watch for the next 2, possibly 3 hours, or it could die out in 30 minutes. Who knows? But regardless, it's going to be something I watch. So both of these storms, in one in southwest Massachusetts. I keep saying Massachusetts. My bad, Mom. My bad, y'all. This is out here southwest New Hampshire and also in western Connecticut. My goodness. Hold on. Let me just really do this. Let me just... Okay. New Hampshire, Vermont, Massachusetts, Connecticut. New Hampshire, Vermont, Massachusetts, Connecticut. Okay. Muscle memory. Maybe I'll remember. I know my states. It's just the fact that I'm zoomed in all the time. I mean, I know every last one of the states in the U.S. The only two I get confused with the most is New Jersey and Delaware. I mix these two up actually quite frequently. My word. It's just because I'm always zoomed in here. I'm not really pulling a lucky. It's just the fact that I don't really mention these states much unless it's winter. We don't typically have tornado threats in the Northeast. The last time we had this notable of a tornado threat in the Northeast, I was 12. I was 12 the last time we had this big of a tornado threat in the Northeast. And I was not covering weather at that point. Let's see here. The storm might be on a bit of a weakening trend here west of Lynchfield and northwestern Connecticut, but still definitely tornadic. Go back up to that one in Vermont. This is in the same area where it's going to be difficult to tell you if we have a tornado on the ground due to the mountains up here. So if you're in Waterbury, regardless, you need to be in your safe spot. It's going to be very difficult for us to even tell if there's a tornado on the ground with this. So just regardless, if you're in a tornado warning, stay in your safe spot. Really, every storm we have is in a difficult area to see in terms of radar. In terms of radar coverage. The SPC did also, I don't believe I showed you guys this. I actually just noticed it. They highlighted exactly where I've been talking about all day and even talked about yesterday for the greatest tornado threat. And they literally just put the tag, greatest severe weather threat. That includes all hazards. Personally, I think it might go a little bit more east than that. It really just depends on how these storms look at that point. Let me see the new HRRR. HRRR still has this storm becoming an issue towards Franklin later down the line. So I'm still going to keep an eye on that as it moves from near the Franklin, New Hampshire area up towards eventually Portland, Maine. I've never seen a tornado. I've never seen a year for tornadoes like this. They are absolutely everywhere. Just wait till second season. I have a feeling Dixie Alley is going to pop off. Especially if we do not go into a weak La Nina, Dixie Alley's most definitely going to pop off in the second season. Pete, if you're here, who's currently in first? Please, for the love of Almighty, tell me it's not Denny Hamlin. Anybody but him. I'm sorry, Denny. Shouldn't be talking about NASCAR here. Yep. Climate change, severe weather lover. Don't let anybody else make you think it's global warming. It's climate change. Tyler Reddick. Praise the Lord. I will definitely be happy if he wins. Let's see here. Let's go over to Pennsylvania. Latest scan has a little area rotation redeveloping out here in Pennsylvania. The tiniest area here. What if I use white? White might be the best color to use on these live streams for me circling stuff. Because I've used pink, blue, yellow, all these other colors. I forgot about white. Maybe when I talk about radar, white will be the best one. Now, when talking about model runs, white is one of the last colors you want to use because, well, most base maps on model runs are going to be white. So that's the area of rotation we're watching out here towards Brownsville and Grindstone Republic as well in southwestern Pennsylvania for the potential of a tornado to develop at any given second. Still a really good area of rotation and full-blown supercell. It's very difficult to see because we're far from the radar. But regardless, still a decent supercell out here in the Keene area of southwest New Hampshire. And let's go back down to our other storm. Nope, not that one. Not that one. This one. Still a supercell here. Definitely capable of producing a tornado. The long duration extent of this is very uncertain, so we'll just keep an eye on it, and we'll just take it scan at a time here. Pennsylvania, you are not in a severe currently, so you're good. I'd still remain weather aware because you're in that new severe watch, but probably won't see much. For the next at least 15 minutes, we're up to 4 tornado warnings and 12 severe thunderstorm warnings. Those severe thunderstorm warnings do include portions of Canada as well. Just a heads up there. Not all 12 of those are in the U.S. Oh, that's a weird Pennsylvania polygon there. Look at that. I don't think you can call that a polygon anymore. Okay, let's go back up to Vermont. Still a decent area of rotation on this storm in Vermont. But it looks like it's becoming embedded inside this rain shower, so it's probably not going to be tornadic for anything more than about 13 more minutes here. So we'll just continue to watch this stuff as it stays tornadic here. That storm near me is really blowing up. That thing is not near me anymore. Buddy, that's all the way in, near South Hill. My word. But that is getting pretty strong. Wouldn't rule out a severe warning with that one in South Central Virginia. Well east of Danville. Let's see here. We'll see if they issue a new tornado warning. If they do, it's going to include Torrington, Connecticut, regardless. So Torrington, such a tongue twister name. Torrington, Connecticut. Make sure you are ready to go to your safe spot, just in case you get under a tornado warning, which is looking more and more possible at this point. And that other storm I was talking about just moments ago that the HRRR has being an issue for a tornado later down the line towards Franklin is now a severe thunderstorm warning for 60-mile-an-hour winds, tornado possible, as well as 0.75-inch hail. Make sure you're indoors, away from doors and windows, close to your safe spot, just in case we see a tornado warning there. That is in southern New Hampshire. Thank you, Richard, for subscribing. Much appreciated. As well as Donna Baker for subscribing. I missed your subscription about 2 hours ago, or an hour ago. Let's see what we have back here. Just want to check on all these other cells just in case they try to sneak up on us here. Girl Dev, I would definitely be watching Tuesday right off the bat. I definitely want to keep an eye on Tuesday. At the moment, it seems like winds will be the primary concern, but I'm definitely watching the area for Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. Near Johnstown? Heck yeah, you are dead right on that. We've got 2 areas of decent rotation here west of Johnstown, New York. I believe this is New York. Yes. Both of these are definitely rotating, especially, well, both of them are just as good. Both of them are just as good, so we'll keep an eye on both of these regions for the potential of a tornado to develop over the next 30 minutes or so. No tornado warning at this point, but wouldn't be shocked if we see one here shortly in and around the Johnstown area for New York. Thank you for pointing that out to me. I was not checking that area. I'm going to get an analysis radar on that. This one needs to stay... Wow, that area of rotation on our tornado warning storm in northwest Connecticut fell apart fast. We may not see a new warning. That fell apart really quick. One in Pennsylvania still is messy as well. I think most of these warnings are going to expire in 10 minutes. We'll probably be left with just the one in southwest New Hampshire. Unless we see another tornado warning for, or I should say, a new tornado warning for those storms out there in central New York, which I can't get a radar site on. Oh my word. Okay, what radar site was I using? I thought it was the... It is the Abilene radar site, but why won't it... Am I too high up? What am I looking at here? Okay, there we go. Y'all, this may be on the ground. Johnstown, you need to seek shelter now. There's no tornado warning, but this could very easily, and I mean very easily, be on the ground. That is a really nice looking supercell. Look at that. So, Johnstown, New York, I advise seeking shelter. You don't have to, unless that tornado warning comes out, but I advise seeking shelter because this could produce a tornado at any given moment. It is very much capable of producing a tornado. I'm going to be looking for a debris signature on that next scan. We'll wait for that to come through. Man, the radar coverage is just poor out here. Very poor radar coverage on most of these storms. We knew radar coverage was going to be an issue today, regardless. Both mountains and radar holes. But it's just something you got to deal with. Alright, I'm going to stay on this storm here. The CC is not showing any signs of a tornado being on the ground at this moment, but a really good area of rotation, rotating in all heights of the atmosphere, from what I can tell. About 14,000 feet up, so pretty high up. Pretty much the entire storm is rotating in this small quadrant here. I mean the entire levels of the storm, by the way, so pretty much, let me just rephrase this. It's rotating in all levels that the atmosphere is, I don't know how to word this. I don't know how to word this. It's rotating in all levels. But that's weird to say because it's not rotating, like, really high up. All levels that this storm is present, it's rotating at this hook echo. That's so weird to say. I don't know how you'd word that. Regardless, it's rotating. The rotation goes up with height. Maybe that's how you word it. I was very confused on how to word that one, man. Really confused. Let's see here. I'm watching to the end. I live in Southeast Massachusetts, but watching just in case. Well, welcome to the stream and glad to have you in here. Hopefully we won't see much out there. I'm not anticipating it. We did just get a severe warning on this, and okay, the guts to not put this at Tor Possible is mind-blowing to me. That is mind-blowing to me. You're gonna tell me that little tiny rain showers that look like this have gone Tor Possible before, but a full-blown supercell with a hook echo and area rotation is not Tor Possible? Very shocked. Very shocked, but it is the National Weather Service, so. Let's see. Truth, maybe for Tuesday. I'm keeping an eye on it. It's nothing to get worried about. Just want to keep an eye on it if you're in central northern Indiana. Southern Indiana should be okay. We'll be looking at Tuesday night into Wednesday morning for a severe threat out there. But it's uncertain at this point. We really have to wait until storms fire tomorrow night to see what's going to happen for Tuesday. I want to go back to Vermont here. Yeah, most of these tornado warnings will expire in 11 minutes. We should hear probably at least one tornado warning get issued. We'll see. We'll see if they do that. Towards Rutland, northeast of Rutland. I think I see what you're talking about there. It doesn't look the most impressive. I kind of take that back. It does look a little like it's rotating at least a bit. So, very little area of rotation here northeast of Rutland, Vermont. No precautions really need to be taken at this time with this storm. Just take note of it if you're northeast of Rutland, near Bethel, Woodstock, going towards Hanover. I don't believe it's going to have much of a chance to produce a tornado, but you never know. Let's see here. Really sucks that we don't have a radar out here in southeastern, at least southeastern New Hampshire. Southwestern New Hampshire would be perfect. This could very easily be a tornado on the ground, and we just straight up wouldn't know. This is in southwestern New Hampshire, now east of Keene. As this storm's moving out of the city of Keene in southwest New Hampshire. Tennessee, I'm not really going to be watching Tennessee until Wednesday. So keep an eye on that. Keep an eye on Wednesday, but very uncertain on what will happen. Let's see. Thank you, very weirdly spelled truck, for subscribing. Much appreciated. What was I gonna say? I forgot what I was gonna say here. Oh, yes. All but one of our tornado warnings have been canceled. So instead of letting them expire in 4 minutes, they've gone ahead and canceled every tornado warning except the one in southwest New Hampshire. So far, they're continuing that as a Tor Possible severe. So if you're in Manchester, Bedford, or Beaufort, Peterborough, I butchered that easily. Wilmington, Merrimack, make sure you guys are indoors, away from doors and windows, and close to your safe spot out here in southwestern New Hampshire. We'll be keeping an eye on that. By a live cam? Okay. Thank you for letting me know. Is that perhaps the one in New Hampshire? New Hampshire DOT traffic cams. Let's see how trash these traffic cams are. Holy crap. Y'all want to make your site any more confusing? Goodness. Shoot. I can't even find out where these cameras are. Traffic camera map. Okay, here we go. Holy crap, Manchester has a whole lot of cameras. Once this storm gets close to Manchester, we're going to have a bunch of cameras to look at. There's none currently where it is, towards the Greenfield area in New Hampshire. But we'll see. We'll see what happens there. They did just issue a tour possible severe for the city of Hartford, Connecticut. So make sure you guys are indoors, away from doors and windows, very close to your safe spot, just in case that goes tornado warned, which that storm is capable of producing tornadoes. And we will see what it does next. The good news is this hook echo out here in the Johnstown area, New York, did already occlude, so there's no longer much of a tornado threat with that. But at one point, it was looking pretty good. Kind of surprised we didn't see a warning on that. Let's see here. Hold on, let me save my computer, but I have so many tabs open that are the same tabs. Okay. Let's go back over to this tornado warning. This is our last tornado warning. It expires in less than 60 seconds, so we are about to go down to a normal severe thunderstorm warning. We'll wait and see what happens. It should expire. We'll wait for that to expire. Let me go back to it. I think it expired. Let me check. Yep. No longer any tornado warnings active. There you go. The peak activity is beginning now. In terms of ingredients, we will just see if any of the storms take advantage of those ingredients in place. Or if we're going to be maybe without a tornado today. I totally just jinxed us, by the way. Primary tornado threat is anticipated to be from 5 o'clock to 7 p.m. Eastern Time. So that is from now over the next hour, 45 minutes. Hello, Finn. Welcome back, Chip. Welcome, Girl Dev, by the way. Glad to have you in here again. Girl Dev, things are going to change. We're just going to monitor it until Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, and see what the threat looks like then. Yeah, that is a name, huh, Ben? Thank you, Truth, for the $5 donation, saying, as always, thanks for the service. Keep up the great work. Thank you for your donation. Greatly appreciated, and glad you're enjoying the streams. Chester Springs, Pennsylvania. Let's see here. So, you're good. Severe storms off to your south, towards Wilmington, southeastern Pennsylvania. That's the only severe currently active in the state of Pennsylvania. Let's see. We'll see if either of these storms start to rotate. Still watching both of them. Watching the southern indent here and the northern indent here. Both are heading generally in the direction of Fort Johnson in New York. Again, thank you, Truth, for the $5 donation. Greatly appreciated. Glad to have you in here. I'm trying to check something. Okay, there we go. Madison, thank you for subscribing. Much appreciated. Still a bit of rotation on this storm in southwestern, rather south central now, New Hampshire. Not the most impressive, but we'll continue to monitor it. Let's see here. There's currently 1, 2, 3 tornado possible tag severes here. So we'll see if any of these can manage to do something. Uh-oh. This one's looking better still. So at first, this was a storm that looked good. Now, this storm towards Fort Plain heading in the general direction of Amsterdam as well as Johnstown. That is starting to get a better of a hook on it. Bit better of a hook on it. There you go. That's how you speak. This storm in Torrington, no tornado warning, but still a broad mesocyclone there. Area of rotation we're watching as it's going out towards Hartford, Connecticut. So we'll keep an eye on that as well. The PDS tornado watch that is in place out here in Saskatchewan and Canada. Storms are just now starting to fire up. We're anticipating the potential for multiple strong tornadoes, maybe even an intense tornado towards the time frame of between 7 o'clock Eastern and possibly as late as 5 a.m. Eastern. That tornado watch that is PDS goes for now 11 hours and 59 minutes. There is the potential that storms go throughout the night out in that area. Especially as we get towards southern Saskatchewan. That's when storms will probably remain possibly severe throughout the night. Bit of uncertainty on the extent of those storms. New Boston, where? There's like 5 New Bostons. This one? It's far away, but there's most likely an area of rotation with this. We've been talking about this storm for a while. We'll just see if it manages to do something. Matter of fact, I think that storm towards the west of Concord is also rotating. So, severe weather lover, it's time for you to pay attention. This storm looks a bit interesting as it's heading up towards your direction. We'll, of course, wait and see if that ends up doing anything. Let's see. Lynchfield, Massachusetts. I imagine... Is that Massachusetts? You might have spelled that wrong. It's not appearing up on my... Oh, nope, there it is. Maine. That's Maine, that's why. You didn't spell it wrong. It's Maine. Is it? Hold on, this brought me to Maine. I'm pretty sure MA is Massachusetts. Maine should be ME, right? I'm not crazy. I mean, it's not showing up for me. Lynch. Oh, you forgot a T. Yep, that makes all the difference. Still not showing up, though. Could you just say this the storm? I mean, I don't really think you're going to be able to see anything rotating out there. Yeah, there you go, Connecticut. Ta-da! Yeah, so it's the storm I literally just talked about, this cell here, moving off to the east towards Hartford. Yep. I figured something was wrong there. I was like, man, maybe I'm just... maybe I'm just not knowing here. Just no idea. That's probably the most interesting storm currently, is one in Hartford, Connecticut. Let me go back up to that one in New York. Oh, yep, that I'm not going to say that, what I was just going to say, but we definitely have the potential to see a tornado at any given minute out in this area. And the National Weather Service is watching it because they just extended that warning. Now they put Tor Possible on it, so there you go. If you are out here towards Fonda, central New York, make sure you are getting ready to go to your safe spot because that is trying its best to rotate. That is definitely rotating. Skip that. That is definitely rotating. We'll see if it manages to do anything. Wow. That is getting more impressive each scan. I hope they haven't called the NASCAR race because the rain's pretty much starting to move through now. So the heaviest rainfall should be passing. They still have a good solid, I mean, they're what, up here-ish? So they still have another 30 minutes of solid rain up there. And there she is. Ready for it? Here comes the beep. Here comes the beep. We've been watching this for a while. Any second now. All right. Now. Oh, nope. I don't have it. Yeah, it just got tornado warned. We're waiting for the beep. It's taking forever. There it is.
Tornado warning for East Central Montgomery County in eastern New York, Montgomery County in New York.
Yep, so they now just tornado warn this area of rotation here in Fonda, New York. So make sure you are in your safe spot. You'll see this red box appear at any given second. It should appear generally at in this area. There you go. There's a red box. Very thin red box, honestly. We'll see if the storm manages to move outside of that box at any point. So if you are inside that red polygon there, tornado warning has just been issued. Tornado warning that's radar indicated means a tornado is imminent or possibly even on the ground. So make sure you are in your safe spot. And again, that is out here in East Central New York, south of Johnstown. Just waiting to see if they tornado warn these storms at any second. It's really a hard call to make to tornado warn these cells. You're gonna have to depend off of storm chasers and reports you're receiving. The radar is far from these storms, so you cannot rely off of radar. That area of rotation is 6,200 feet up, so you can't rely just off of radar there. Looks like that area of rotation's broadened out quite a bit. We'll see what happens here. So we'll continue to monitor that as it moves off to the east again towards the Tribes Hill area, Fort Johnson, Amsterdam, Hagman, Fonda. You guys are all inside a tornado warning here in New York. Make sure you are seeking shelter. Tornadoes imminent or possibly even on the ground. A tornado has now been reported on the storm back out here. And let's see. This storm here. Tornado is unwarned on the ground. Out here. Is this the right storm? We've got an unwarned tornado. Give me just a second. I want to make sure I have the right storm, y'all. Let's see. I'm going to tornado warn by the time I even get it. I believe it is this cell. Yeah. The audacity to put that as radar indicated after receiving a tornado report is wild. So again, there is a tornado on the ground via chasers out here. That is a
Tornado
radar
warning
indicated
for
warning.
Central Hillsborough County in southern New Hampshire, Hillsborough County in New Hampshire.
Wait. Yeah. Okay, that is correct. It is the one in New Hampshire. Sorry, y'all. It was taking me a minute to confirm that chaser report. I'm just gonna double check that report, y'all. I'm just gonna double check that. There's no picture of it, so I can't say it is on the ground, but there is a report of a tornado on the ground out here going towards New Boston and Manchester in south central New Hampshire. And if any storm's going to do it today, it's definitely going to be this one, because we've been talking about it for a very long time now. The tornado warning is radar indicated, so what that means is a tornado is imminent or possibly even on the ground. It is currently not observed, even though we did just receive a report of a tornado on the ground with it. The National Weather Service is going to have to try to validate that report and see if they can contact the chaser to get a picture or a video of it, so that way they would be able to actually, confirm that it is on the ground. So most likely a tornado is either imminent or on the ground. There's reports of a tornado on the ground with this storm, so you definitely want to be in your safe spot if you're out here in New Boston, west of Manchester. Again, the radar coverage is very poor, so if we have a tornado on the ground, it would have to be very, very strong in order for us to see it on correlation coefficient. Yes, this has had a donut for a very long time, Catman. So we'll continue to keep an eye on this as it's going to progress off more to the east. And we'll see what happens. They may observe that at any given second if they can validate that tornado report. The tornado warning back towards the Fonda, New York area. Definitely still a broad area rotation with that, but it looks a lot weaker. So still stay in your safe spot. Tornado is imminent or possibly even on the ground out there in Fonda, Tribes Hill, Amsterdam, Fort Johnson, Hagman in central New York. I don't believe it's on the ground, but still stay in your safe spot. That's currently tornado warned for the next 31 more minutes there. I'll go back to that every once in a while, but we do want to stay with the more preceding storm here, which is this storm that possibly has a tornado on the ground via Storm Chaser reports west of Manchester. Again, the National Weather Service, they haven't, I haven't seen any pictures of it or anything like that, so I don't want to say it is on the ground because I can't confirm. Hold on. Hold on. I can now confirm that this is on the ground. We just got a picture of a tornado that is on the ground lofting debris just about 2 minutes ago. Very brief. Seems to be very weak in intensity. But we did have a tornado on the ground at about 5:25, 5:26, right around there, Eastern time. So this indeed did have a tornado on the ground just moments ago. That is from a video of a chaser, so I can confirm that is actually did produce a tornado. More important, the gas prices out there are just $3.27. Holy crap, I want to go up there. So this does have did have a tornado on the ground. They may not observe this just because it's already lifted. It seems to have been extremely brief and weak in intensity, so they may not confirm this. So we're gonna continue to watch that, and we'll see what it can do. See if it could try to redevelop another tornado there. So that's at least one tornado. We had more reports of a tornado on the ground, but none of those I haven't seen any pictures of them. But we've seen upwards of 4 tornadoes today. It just depends on how many of those reports are actually validated and what they survey out here. Let's go back down over here. Fake vid. Dude, you just really don't want to accept that tornadoes are possible today, do you? How could you fake that video? It's literally a well-known chaser. Wow. That's honestly shameful, man. That's actually shameful. Like, wow. That's kind of crazy. So this did produce a tornado at one point, most likely not on the ground at this moment. Right out here towards west of New Boston. That is going towards New Boston. They may not confirm this just due to the fact that it was very brief and weak in intensity. So we'll just see. We will see what the National Weather Service does, but I don't anticipate that's going to be confirmed. No, it's not the Weed Whacker. Let me check real quick. I mean, I know it's not the Weed Whacker, but I want to check something else. Let's see here. All right. So we'll continue to watch this storm as it moves off to the east here. It did produce a tornado at one point. We'll continue to wait and see. Wait and see if they issue a new warning or not, and if it's confirmed here. So they're keeping that radar indicated. Like I said, most likely due to the fact that it was a very brief and weak tornado. And again, that is in south central New Hampshire. Let's see. Let me go back over here. All right, let's go back over to our other tornado warning just to see if it's yeah, that's not looking good at all. So that storm out towards Fort Johnson, I don't think that's going to be much of an issue, honestly. Still stay in your safe spot, though. Because that could produce a tornado. Hartford, Connecticut looks like anything. If you're saying does it look like anything, I'll check really fast. Let me look at the radar. It is severe warned. It's tore possible. I definitely keep an eye on it just in case. Make sure you're indoors away from doors and windows if you're in that severe as it's moving off to the east. So we'll see if that ends up doing anything. It did attempt to produce a tornado at one point. Let me go over here. I'm going to look for any other chasers who might have a view on this storm. We do have cameras in this area as well. They're just not the best cameras. Oh, yeah, they're not good at all. I take that back. We have cameras. They're just not good whatsoever. So if we manage to see anything on those cameras as this goes towards Manchester, I'll let y'all know. This storm is still very much capable of producing a tornado. And this is going to be the cell we watch over the next, however long we're live. I don't know how much longer we're staying here. Ooh, I do know another chaser here. Let's see if he got the tornado. No. He was going east at the time. So again, just make sure you're in your safe spot here, as that is our only tornado warning now. That is your only tornado warning now. And it is in south central New Hampshire. Probably, let me see what these storms look like. Yeah, probably don't need to keep this radar site open anymore. We'll move it to the KOKX radar site. Why couldn't my brain comprehend that there was 2 Ks in that? Dude. My word. So we'll continue to watch this storm. Again, if you're in Manchester, prepare to go to your safe spot. Tornado warning may be issued with this. And we'll see what happens here. Well, we'll be keeping a very, very close eye on this. Oh, hold on, I just saw something. Let me see what that said. Okay. So again, just make sure that you guys are keeping a very close eye on these storms here. The one in Concord, by the way, severe weather lover. I don't know exactly which one, or exactly where you live, rather. But this storm still looks at least interesting to keep an eye on. I just don't think it's going to be anything too crazy at the moment. This could easily be quite a decent tornado on the ground out here in New Boston. It's just we're not going to be able to see it from radar unless it's a strong tornado on the ground ripping up a bunch of trees and lofting debris. Let me go back over here. So again, just make sure you're in your safe spot. This is only tornado warning. It's in southern New Hampshire. I mean, it's strong, 6,200 feet up in the atmosphere, but how strong is it, 500 feet to 1,000 off the atmosphere, or up in the atmosphere, rather? So that's the real question. And we can't tell that. We can't say anything about that. Because no radars. And go back to our cameras, see if we got anything here. Nothing yet. Well, if you provide a screenshot in the Discord server, I can see that. But if you're just going to say it's a funnel, I'm not going to believe you. Or this storm towards Hartford doesn't look doesn't look tornadic anymore. So hopefully that's just going to die off. Like I said, it was either going to be a storm to watch for 2 to 3 hours or die off relatively quickly. Hopefully it continues on that trend of dying off pretty quick. Again, it's very difficult to say if that's a tornado on the ground. It's actually impossible. I should rather reword that. I'm trying to find the right radar site. Where'd it go? This one. There's no correlation coefficient that corresponds with debris there, so I don't think we have a tornado on the ground. But again, you could very easily have a tornado on the ground, and it's just we're not able to see it due to the radar site scanning higher up in the atmosphere. Oops. I mean, that doesn't look too much like a funnel to me, but it could be. You really have to have a video to see if it's rotating. It just looks like scud from that picture. Pictures are very hard to determine if a storm's rotating. That's why they like, National Weather Service likes videos. Again, this is the only tornado warning active, so we'll see. This is actually the only severe active as well in New Hampshire, so this threat may actually be decreasing now. I still think our highest tornado threat is peaking now. It's just not widespread. It's really with this one storm. That's it. We have not, Caleb. Not yet. Nope. We've had a lot of reports. We've had some damage reports from potential tornadoes. We had about 2 of those. We had a video of a tornado, which makes it 3. And there's a few other storms that looked interesting, but I never saw anything of reports or stuff like that. So, as of now, there's not been a confirmed tornado in terms of the National Weather Service saying it's a tornado. But we did just receive a video of a tornado on the ground with this storm. That was a while ago, though. I think that was, 15 minutes ago? 15 minutes ago on the dot, we received that video. So this is really the only storm to keep an eye on. Again, still rotating in New Boston, going towards Manchester and South Central New Hampshire. This is probably going to go just barely on the northern side of Manchester, New Hampshire. So we'll see what happens here. That is the most interesting storm at this point. I do want to go check on our other severes just to see if anything looks interesting with these. Nothing at all. What about the Hartford one? That's probably still possible. Yep. Still can't fully rule out a tornado with this storm in Hartford as it continues off to the east over the next 30 minutes or so. It may be trying to redevelop. That might be a little notch trying to pop out there. We'll see what the next scan has. So we have two possible severes. I believe both of those are... Yeah, we've got one that's tornado warned now. And then our other one was previously tornado warned quite a while ago. We'll just see if that manages to increase in intensity or not. Let's go back to... Okay, not that one. Yeah, so still some rotation there towards the Gulfstown area. Going towards Pinyard and Manchester here. Also, I want to see the mesoanalysis. We got another one 45 minutes ago. It shows these storms are starting to move out of the most favorable environment, but they're still in a pretty good environment. They're just moving out of that. Let me look at the mid-level lapse rate, see if those got any better. Probably not. Nope. Still 5.5. So we'll keep watching this as it moves off to the northeast, and we'll see. We shall see what happens. This storm, how fast is this moving? It is moving at about 40 miles per hour. How far are we from the unfavorable environment? We're about 30 miles from the unfavorable environment, about 45, 50 from the coastline. So... At this point, we'll plan to end in an hour, 5 minutes. Whether or not that happens or not will depend solely off what happens here over the next hour and 5 minutes. We're only 9 likes away from our like goal, so if you haven't already, make sure you hit that like button. The likes are very important on streams, as well as sharing the stream, because it helps get us out to more people. This storm's in a radar dead zone, so there's really not much I can say for an analysis side of things. Which is why I'm just kind of mentioning that the tornado warning's there. Because there's not really much analysis I can do for y'all when this storm's so far away from the radar. But we'll see. We'll just keep watching it. We will keep watching it. We also did hit our subscriber goal of 6,400. That was the subscriber goal for the end of the month. Mods are being mean. I doubt that. I highly doubt the mods are being mean. Let's see what this meanie possibly is. Sure, buddy. Let me go back over to this storm in Connecticut. Did they keep that toward possible tag, perhaps? Nope. Oh, yes, they did, actually. I saw it. Just barely saw it. Right there. So it is still there. I'll just double check with this software. Still there. Yep. Just double check. So that is still a possible severe thunderstorm warning. You can see it's getting its act together just west of Hartford as it's moving off to the east-northeast. So we'll see if that manages to get its act together even more. There's a small chance it gets warned. Just depends on how strong that rotation ends up getting. So this cell looks to be on a weakening trend. However, there's still an area of rotation. You can still see the green and red there. I don't know what their next move is going to be. I wouldn't be surprised if they don't warn this. I wouldn't be surprised if they don't even put a severe warning on this as it continues eastward. And I wouldn't be shocked if they just do nothing. Let everything expire. They decided to pull the tornado warning on the southern cell. Here comes a beep. Get ready for the beep. So they did tornado warn that storm I was just talking about. Oh, wait. Hey, they extended this one and issued the new tornado warning for Hartford. Can I find the right radar site? Goodness me, I'm going to click every last radar site before. There you go.
Tornado warning for Central Hartford County in northern Connecticut.
There's two of them.
Hartford County in Connecticut.
There comes the other one.
Tornado warning for northwestern Rockingham County in southern New Hampshire, east central Hillsborough County in southern New Hampshire, southeastern Merrimack County in central New Hampshire, Hillsborough, Merrimack, and Rockingham County in New Hampshire.
I lived in a Rockingham County. My other house in North Carolina. Let's see here. Yep, so they did decide to continue that tornado warning. We now have 2 populated tornado warnings. Shoot. Just realized I closed the traffic cams. Let's see. Let me get these cameras back up, y'all. I hope it's just you, Caleb. Alright, let's go over to Manchester. See if we have a good view of this. Nope. There's really no good views of this, y'all. Yeah, it's just traffic cams, so you can't see anything. Alright, this just got tornado warned out here in Hartford. Let's see what the population on both of these are. So we have the one in Hartford is for 361,374 people, 122 schools, and 8 hospitals. The one in Manchester, New Hampshire is for 168,206 people, 34 schools, and 3 hospitals. So overall, there's almost 50,000, or not 50, but 500,000 people inside a tornado warning currently. Oh, look at that. Raleigh, North Carolina just set its record for an all-time high of temperatures today. The last record was set way back when in 1986. Raleigh hit 100 degrees Fahrenheit today. If only we had a low pressure, not a stubborn high pressure right over us. If only we had a solid setup for severe weather. It got up to like 91 over here in Virginia. Yesterday, I think it got up to like 96 or so. But honestly, today felt worse than yesterday. So we'll continue to just monitor this threat for a tornado or 2 here. Let's see. One of our tornado warnings expire in 8 minutes. The others expire later than that. Wow. There's still a decent area of rotation out there towards Pinyard. Or, I just said Pinyard. What was I even thinking of? Pinyardville. Just make sure you are in your safe spot here in New Hampshire if you're in that red polygon. If you're in this one, still remain in your safe spot. However, the storm's moving out of that polygon now. So until that tornado warning's dropped, just remain in your safe spot just in case. It's best just to stay in your safe spot. Pete, if you're still here, wouldn't really surprise me, honestly. Are they finishing drying the track? Because these storms are exiting the area now. I don't know exactly where the track's located, but there's probably still like 15 minutes left of rain. New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Yeah, there's still like 10 more minutes left of rain, then that's going to get out of there. So still an area rotation out here in Hartford. We're going to keep an eye on that as it moves up to the east here. That tornado warning goes for about 36 more minutes. The disc extension should occur any second, or they'll cancel that one. That's lasting for 6 more minutes out there towards the Greenfield, New Boston area. And then the new one we just got in Manchester goes for 21 more minutes. So still a few areas of rotation. Anything for Pottstown? Let me see. You're still good. You're still good. Still going to be a risk for isolated severe storms later on this evening into the early night hours, but we'll see. So Manchester, make sure you're in your safe spot. Manchester, New Hampshire, tornadic thunderstorm is right over you right now. Could be producing a tornado at any given second. We don't have many good views of this. I should refrain that. We have no good views of this at all. Not many. No good views. 0. So we'll just wait. We'll just wait. It's going to be a waiting game again. A few things I want to wait for. I want to wait for the HRRR model run, which actually should have already finished for today. Yeah, 21Z. It shows the threat's pretty much over. There will still be a risk for an isolated tornado tonight in this entire area here. There's still going to be a risk for 65, 70 mile an hour winds, 1.5 inch hail, and a tornado or two will still be possible. That risk should last all the way until the surface low leaves the general region of the northeastern U.S., which will occur right around 2 a.m. Eastern. So it's still going to stay present there for an isolated risk, even beyond the watch issuance of these watches here. And we're still going to stay live for a couple more minutes, so if you guys haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button, share the stream. There's still a decent amount of time left on this live stream. We're going to be live until all 3, at least, even beyond, well beyond that, all 3 of these tornado warnings expire. So, overall, I personally, even though... I mean, even if we didn't see a tornado today, in my book, I think today's threat almost verified. It depends on what type of reports we see later on. Our max hail size at the moment was 1.5 inch in diameter. We were anticipating 1 to 1.5 inch hail, so that verified. We were anticipating 65 to 70 mile an hour winds. We haven't received any specified... Oh, actually, we did. Did we? The heck? Okay, get this. We haven't received any specified report up here in the Northeast of any damaging winds. A lot of damage reports, but no specified, specific mile an hour wind report of somebody sticking their finger up in the air and going, this feels like 70. But out in Arizona, we have a report of 78 mile an hour winds, and I believe we were live for that. But I had no clue. Yes, we were definitely live for that. That definitely. We were definitely live for that. So we'll just continue to watch this threat, see what happens here. We'll see. I know this would have overperformed for a 5% tornado risk due to the amount of warnings. 5% tornado risk typically doesn't have that many tornado warnings. Same goes for yesterday. Yesterday verified as a 10 sig tor. And it was a 5%. Today, if we had any tornadoes, which I believe we have, they would have been weak. They would have been weak, which would be a 10% tornado risk. Let's see here. Okay. Let's go and check what this storm looks like in Manchester. It still looks at least a little bit tornadic. It's hard to tell because the radar site's far. But it's at least a little tornadic there. So we'll continue to monitor that till the warning drops in 16 minutes. And even beyond that, we'll keep watching it. The one in Hartford doesn't look nearly as interesting anymore. So I think we'll see if they cancel that. But it's going to expire in 31 more minutes. Yeah, that's because Canada has so many false alarms. That's why. Canada issues these fat warnings for the tiniest bit of rotation for 2.5 hours. Storm starts to intensify, 2 pixels of rotation, tornado warning for 3 hours. Storm dies 5 minutes later, tornado warning stays in place for 2 hours and 55 more minutes. That's Canada for you. Let me go back up here. We're actually seeing some storms fire in Canada. For instance, severe thunderstorm warning for 2 hours, 50 minutes. This storm's going to be moving out of this southern warned area in 30. Maybe pushing 45 minutes there. And the warning's for 2 hours and 50 minutes. Let's go for another example. This one, this severe thunderstorm warning, 2 hours, 49 minutes. Storm is, at the moment, looks like it will be out of the warned area within an hour, but probably an hour and a half. All right, let's go to this severe thunderstorm warning. This warning, 2 hours, 44 minutes. It is going to be outside of that warning in probably 15, maybe 30 minutes. All right, need another example here, Ethan? Okay, this severe thunderstorm warning, 2 hours, 55 minutes. Going to be out of that warned area in 15 to 30 minutes. There you go. I think I've proven my point with Canada's warnings there. Yeah, my mom fixed food, but I skipped out on it. I'll just eat it after I end stream. What did you predict? Yeah, it is a PDS warning, yeah. 12 or so warnings today. We at least had 1 tornado. At minimum. Probably more. Let's see. Okay. Let me go back up to, let's go to our analysis radars again. Yeah, the one in Hartford, it looks like it's much weaker now. I don't believe that's going to be too tornadic. Just stay in your safe spot just in case it produces a tornado. Better safe than sorry. But yeah, that remains in place for 27 more minutes. Let's go back up to our tornado warning south central. Actually, this is now going into southeastern New Hampshire. That is, from what I can tell, it looks weaker, but I don't know. It's far from the radar site, so don't take my word for that being weaker now. Let's see. Okay. Who DM'd me? When'd you do that? Oh, now. Man, bro is not patient. Oh, you managed to get in on that tornado warning? Wow. When was that? Today? Dude. That's better than pretty much anything I have seen. Wow, that's crazy. It was a pretty good shot you got there, too. Still at least a little bit of rotation here over Manchester. We'll continue to watch that as it moves off to the east-northeast here. That warning will expire in about 11 minutes there. So we'll just see. We'll see. These storms aren't possible in Pennsylvania going into New Jersey, so that's good news. Hopefully we continue to stay with the nothing tornadic out here. Pete, how many laps are left on the board? Hopefully it's more than 50. I don't even know how many they're doing today. I'll probably be able to catch the tail end of it. If this severe threat continues at the rate it's going, it should be nearly done by the time we end in 45 minutes. Tornado warning in Canada or something? Let me see. Yep, there you go. All right, here's another example. A tornado warning for an hour and 5 minutes. That one's not too bad. It might stay in that warned area for that long. This storm probably will start to move off to the southeast. But if it keeps going northeast, it's going to be out of that warned area in probably about 40-ish minutes or so. Maybe a little bit later than that. That's actually not too bad of a warning. Minus the fact that it's, you know, a very large warning. You've got this whole warning here for this tiny storm moving to the northeast. Yeah, this storm, it looks messy. I feel like it's not rotating as much as the radar is saying it is. They may continue that warning just for the fact that it still has a small couplet. And we actually just got a severe warning. Ooh, funnel reported. Yeah, that's probably... Oh, well, that was a while ago. So that may not warrant the new warning, actually. But we got a warning in... KJYX. Do I even have radar site? KJYX. I don't think I have that radar site. I must have moved it. Anyways, we got a severe warning up here that's possible. Doesn't look that impressive on velocity at all. We'll just continue to monitor that. Could see a spin-up tornado out of this. That actually might be an issue. That might be... quite the big issue there. I'll wait for the new meso analysis to come through, but that's probably in at least a bit of an environment. It should be in a pretty bad environment, though, considering how far to the east and northeast it is. This storm in Manchester, honestly, don't even know what it's doing anymore. I don't think it's going to be that tornadic anymore, but still a chance to see a tornado out of that. So still want to keep an eye on that, just in case. There's still a few storms that could produce tornadoes out here. It's just going to have to take some work from these storms in order to do that. All right, we'll just stay on this warning here in southeastern New Hampshire. Oh, I have this on the wrong setting. That's why I can't see it. Oh, we did hit 100 likes. Thank you guys for hitting that like button. Much appreciated. So again, this did just get a funnel reported with it. That funnel report's actually like 20 minutes old now. Actually, like 10. Hold on a second. When was that reported? 53. It's 08, so 10 minutes. Yeah, about 15 minutes ago that funnel was reported. We'll see if that warrants them enough to issue a new tornado warning there. So we'll see. But this threat's definitely starting to die out. So that's the good news. This tornado warning only goes for 7 more minutes. The one in Connecticut actually goes for quite a while more here. 22 more minutes. So that's going to be something to watch even more here. Even though I believe they're going to cancel that. We'll just see. We will see. CC on what? There's not really a storm you can look for CC. Thought about that main tornado warning here. I don't believe so. I'd be very shocked. I'd be very, very shocked with that. Okay. Well, this is going to be probably a bit more of the boring side of the live stream because we're wrapping up really. We still have 40 minutes left, so if you want to stick around for those 40 minutes, that'd be perfectly fine. I don't mind at all. It's great to have you in here. If you're going to leave now, that's also okay. If you're in the main risk area, I highly suggest you stay really weather aware, especially if you are in this area here. This is where our greatest tornado threat is. So if you're in this area, I would be watching closely, paying attention to it. Elsewhere, it's very conditional for a tornado to occur. It'd be pretty rare if we see a tornado back out in this region here. But I mean, we did manage to see a few tornado warnings in that 2%, which honestly I'm pretty surprised about. I didn't see Pete answer my question. I don't know if he's in here. I'm gonna go look myself. NASCAR. There is. Shoot, y'all ain't gonna tell me? About 80 laps left. Okay. That's enough. I'll probably catch the tail end of the race. I'm fine by that. I'm quite surprised they didn't start the race up early, close to 1, because we knew these storms were going to interfere with it about 4:30, 5 o'clock. I have no idea, Indiana. Today, there's barely any. So, I don't know. Keep an eye on this little thing here. It might try to ramp up over the next 40, or I should say the next 15 to 30 minutes here. Could try for something. We'll see. It is Tor possible, actually, for a reason. Wow. Didn't even notice that was Tor possible. Alright, let's go back to our storm here. We'll continue to watch this. That's still been there for a while. We'll see what that CC scan has next time, but I don't believe that's a debris signature at this moment. If it is, we're in trouble, because that thing's already been on the ground for a while, and it's strong. So I highly doubt that's a debris signature. I don't think we have any live chasers on this. Connor, I think Connor's chasing tomorrow. I actually haven't heard if he is. I just kind of assume that he is going for tomorrow's risk. Even though there's uncertainty if storms will even fire. He hasn't said anything about going live tomorrow, but I assume he will be. And we'll be live right with them as well. I hope. Depending on when he goes live. If he goes live before 8 o'clock, probably not. I plan to go live. I'm hoping to go live about 7 o'clock tomorrow. 7 to like 9. But again, it's just gonna... It's gonna depend on how I feel. Because I got a big day tomorrow. Well, this expires in 2 more minutes, and I don't believe they're going to continue that warning. If they would, it's going to be issued in a second if they do continue that warning. Oops, oops. How did I manage to misclick that 2 times in a row? They continued a severe thunderstorm warning. That's going to be a tour possible for 1 inch hail, 60-mile-an-hour winds until this storm gets to the coastline in about an hour. Yeah. Won't be live that long, but we'll be live for about close to half of that. Maybe a little over. They also dropped the tornado warning here and kept it tour possible for the next 46 minutes. So in 30 seconds, we're going to be tornado warningless. About 30 seconds. We will see if that happens. Is that the new velocity scan? We'll wait another scan for that. Okay. Yeah, that's not a debris signature. That is not a tornado. Alright, any second now, we should lose this tornado warning. And there it goes. So, tornado warning is gone. We are yet again without a tornado warning. If I was smart, I would end the live stream in 5 minutes before we see another tornado warning. But I'm pretty stupid, so we're going to continue for 35 more minutes. Now, we do have a tornado warning in Canada, but honestly, we don't cover that much and it doesn't even look that interesting, so. That's one of them rain shower type tornado warnings. We still have a few tour possible severes. All 3 of these are tour possible. 1 in Connecticut, 1 in southeastern New Hampshire, 1 in southwest Maine, and then we also have another tour possible back in Pennsylvania. I think that is all. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, 4 tour possible severes. That one in central Pennsylvania doesn't look impressive, honestly. We'll just keep an eye on it just in case. Oh, Lord. Whoa, hold on. Okay. That looked way more impressive for the split second I saw it on the 18Z GFS. I thought we were going to be in trouble for a second. Hold on, June 28th. What does the thermodynamics and kinematics look like that? For the 28th. Not that bad, not that bad. Trying to see if we're going to have another severe threat. We probably will have another severe threat late this week. But first we got to get through tomorrow and Tuesday as well as Wednesday. Wednesday just has a whole lot of uncertainty, man. Whole lot of uncertainty. I don't see anything that looks worth a tornado warning to me. There's nothing that's screaming a tornado warning to me. This could go warned again, but I mean, it just doesn't look that impressive at the moment on reflectivity, so we'll just monitor that, see if they end up warning that. I wouldn't be shocked if they do. I think that storm has the most likelihood of being tornado warned towards Raymond and Epping, if that's how you say that. Newmarket and southeastern New Hampshire. And we just got a considerable severe. I believe that's the first of the day. For 70-mile-an-hour winds out here in New Jersey. And there it is. Yeah, there's a big pocket here, generally in this whole area of 70-mile-an-hour winds moving east. So if you are here in Medford, Mount Holly, Lumberton, Pemberton, make sure you guys are indoors away from doors and windows and close to your safe spot. If it gets a bit rough out there, I suggest going to your safe spot that is warned for 70-mile-an-hour winds. So that is a significant severe. First one today. I believe we might have had one in Arizona that I didn't see. So we are without a tornado warning in the U.S. currently. We will see what happens here. Let's see. Okay. So we'll continue to watch this and see see what happens with any of these storms. But the only one I'm really watching is this one in southeastern New Hampshire. So we'll just wait and see if that ends up doing anything. So that's probably going to be the main storm we keep an eye on for the moment. Okay. Why can I not spell here? Okay, there we go. So that's your area of rotation towards Raymond. It looks really strong. This is in southeastern Minnesota once again, or southeastern New Hampshire. Where in the world did I get Minnesota from? It's because of tomorrow's severe threat. I'm going to blame tomorrow. So southeastern New Hampshire, Raymond, southeastern New Hampshire. We're keeping an eye on that for the potential of a tornado over the next hour or so out here with this storm. The only reason why that looks so strong is because we're looking 6,500 feet up. So we'll see. We will see what happens here. Yeah, look how fast that broke up. See? That just broke up really quick. Yeah, my parents were like that, Pete, until I turned 16. I really wasn't allowed on much electronics until I turned 16. I started my channel, and when I turned, I think, was it 15? I think I started my channel, but I only streamed like once a month. Maybe not even, and I never put out a video unless it was Minecraft. So, I mean, my parents let me play games, of course, on the Xbox and PlayStation, but I never got to go on, like, Twitter or Instagram or anything like that. Which, I'm really glad my parents did that. Really glad for that. Caleb, you will appreciate it once you get older. If you think it's terrible now, you're going to appreciate it later in life. I know I sound like a parent saying that, but you will. You will. Most of the things your parents say you'll appreciate later down the line, you're gonna end up appreciating. And if you don't, well, then that's probably a you issue, honestly. Most of the time, your parents are right. Mine were nearly always right. Let's see here. I really think we're just about done today. Tornado threat's starting to close out here. Tornado threat is starting to wind down. This has been one of our most viewed live streams in about a week or so, I believe. So I appreciate you guys coming back for another live stream. Yeah, this is the most viewed live stream in about 9 days. I would say I'm sorry nothing crazy happened, but honestly, I'm glad nothing crazy happened. I know Twitter's like that all the time. Nothing happened today, so it wasn't entertaining, and everything busted, and everybody did clickbait and everything. But I mean, come on now. Some risks are like that. Some risks are like that. And like I said, this probably underperformed a little bit, but not that much. Honestly, today played out how I expected. Today played out how I expected. Multiple tornado warnings. 1 to 2, maybe even 3 tornadoes occurring. And I mean, that was really about it. Which we definitely had 1 tornado from what I've seen. Yeah, this storm is rapidly weakened out towards the Vernon area in central Connecticut. So that's great news. This could possibly be producing 70-mile-an-hour winds. They have it warned for 70, and it looks quite notable for damaging winds out there in New Jersey. So we'll keep an eye on that as well. We'll see if anything happens. But none of these storms look impressive anymore to me. I'm not impressed by any of these storms anymore. Nothing looks impressive, in my opinion. But we'll just keep an eye on it just in case. You never know. Oh, we got a fish warning. We got a fish warning, y'all. Hold on. If you know any fishies out here, we've got a special marine warning for the potential of a water spout and 34 knot mile an hour. You hear 34 knot mile an hour. 34 knot winds, potentially greater out here. This is in the Gulf of Maine, where we saw Hurricane Lee last year. Was that last year? We saw Lee track its way up through the Gulf of Maine. Pretty sure. But just let your fish friends know that there is a special marine warning for some gusty winds, potentially a water spout. So make sure they're diving down. Man, this warning, this severe expires in 20. How many of these expire in 20 minutes? We will lose 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 warnings in 20 minutes, and we'll lose an additional 6th one in 5 more minutes. Tell them not to go green just yet, Pete. Actually, they can go green now. Because I've got some stuff to do for the next hour, and then I'll be able to watch the race about 7:30. So tell them to go green now. That way they can get rid of all the boredom stuff, and then I'll be able to watch the interesting last few laps. Just a heads up, y'all. We've pretty much wrapped up here. Once again, I mean, we're really just watching this considerable severe for gusty winds. That's about it. That's really the only thing I'm watching. Everything else is meh and not really interesting. So we're really done. We're just going to wait 25 minutes until we hit our in-stream time. So we'll wait. We will wait and see. Okay. Okay. Let's go back out over here to West Virginia. I just saw that special weather statement. 3 more minutes left on that. Nothing crazy at all. I just happened to see that from my other monitor. So we'll just keep an eye on a few of these storms. But really the only one to watch is the one in New Jersey, honestly. This one in Pennsylvania is still managing to hold on to its Tor possible tag. That will be subsevere in 3 minutes. This will be subsevere in 33. This will...
Tornado warning for northwestern Monongalia County in northern West Virginia, east central Wetzel County in northern West Virginia, northwestern Marion County in northern West Virginia, Marion, Monongalia, and Wetzel County in West Virginia.
That will expire after we end. This will still be active whilst we're ending. We're going to keep an eye on it while we're live. Let's see. I'm going to keep this radar site here. This will be the radar site I move over to our tornado warning in West Virginia. Very, 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 very weak rotation. Just make sure you're in your safe spot if you're inside that tornado warning. It's nothing crazy at all. But we'll just be monitoring that very closely, just in case something manages to occur. Yeah, so we got a round of severe storms that I wasn't anticipating. I was expecting these storms to be the main severe weather threat out here, but we actually got another round of storms that decided to fire up out here in southeastern New York, as well as these in New Jersey. So if your friend is in this area here, inside this yellow warning south of Trenton, in and around the Mount Laurel area, make sure they're indoors, away from doors and windows, close to their safe spot, because that does have 70-mile-an-hour winds possible with it. And if they're in this severe south of Philadelphia, make sure they're indoors, away from doors and windows, as that could produce 60-mile-an-hour winds. A new mesoscale discussion up there in our main watch issuance area. Let's go ahead and wait for that to come through here, and there you go. Oh, this is in an interesting area. The tornado threat is becoming more specifically confined late this afternoon. A tornado 2 still may occur with the stronger supercells that could form. A weakening trend is anticipated as these storms encounter a less favorable thermodynamic environment. A couple of stronger discrete storms are continuing across portions of eastern Connecticut. They will traverse into portions of New York and northwestern Rhode Island. Let's see here. Isolated damaging winds and marginal hail will probably be the main threat. So pretty much, long story short, keep an eye on this storm. And keep an eye on this storm. That's really it. I don't know why they put any of this. Honestly, they could have just done with a small MCD right here. And that would have been fine. But they made that MCD bigger. And then tomorrow we're going to be doing this all over again, but a lot more of a windy threat. A lot more of a windy threat, most likely. Tomorrow's going to be, honestly, tomorrow's going to go one of two ways. We could either end up with a potential significant tornado threat tomorrow, which pretty much no one's anticipating at this point, or we're going to end up with what we're anticipating, a line of damaging winds and or an MCS. Potentially even a derecho. For tomorrow. Let's go back to that tornado warning. Not this one, because there is none up there. This one in West Virginia, it's just precautionary, really. Just in case tornado warning, so just make sure you're in your safe spot there, but I really don't see much of an interest with it. So we'll see. We'll see if this manages to do a thing. All right, I'm going to take just a very brief break. I know we're approaching the end of the stream, but I'm just going to take about a 60-second break because I haven't had one in the last 3.5 hours. I haven't even gotten up, so I'll be right back. And I'm back. That was probably a little bit longer. There better not be no PDS warning. Yeah, I would definitely be surprised by that. It'd probably be one of those more, Little Arkansas incidents from 2021. Or 2022. I keep forgetting what year that occurred. They did downgrade this to 60-mile-an-hour winds, so the 70-mile-an-hour severe will expire in 12 minutes. That's going to be just before we end the stream. So that will expire before we end. Honestly, not sure why they put out that MCD. The threat for severe weather is really low now. Or I should say the chance for tornadoes is very low now. Very, very low. It depends, Kevin. It's really up to the SPC completely. I mean, it always has been, but it's very iffy. We're not sure which side's gonna go where for tomorrow. It could be discrete with tornadic activity and large hail, or it could be a line of an MCS or a derecho. So I don't know. Yeah, this storm's not rotating anymore out here in Portsmouth anymore. So if you're in this area, southeastern New Hampshire, they still have it as tour possible, but the main issue is hail up to 1.5 inch in diameter. So just make sure you're indoors, away from doors and windows. Stay close to your safe spot just in case. That's in extreme southern, southwestern Maine. It's southeastern New Hampshire. Not much happening out there. So we'll just keep an eye on that tornado warning in West Virginia for the last few minutes of the stream, as well as that considerable severe in New Jersey, that state. So, yeah. Let me go ahead and check a few other things. I don't think I checked that meso analysis. I was meant to check that 15 minutes ago. Yeah, it's unfavorable in southwest Maine. So I don't think we'll see anything out of that. And let me look at the other ingredients. Yeah, it's not favorable for tornadoes anymore out there in New Hampshire or pretty much anywhere in the U.S. You could still get a brief tornado generally in this area. We could still see a brief tornado, maybe even two tonight. But it's a very, very, very low chance. There's no confined area for the best tornado threat. It's not like it's out here in Pennsylvania or out here in the Northeast or back out towards West Virginia. There's no confined area where there's a high chance for a tornado or a notable tornado threat. So it's still possible, but it doesn't seem likely that we'll see a tornado or two. But again, it's still possible. Oh, somebody in the chat upset that we didn't have a bunch of death and destruction today. Yeah, Bust is banned from this chat. You'll be either the comment will be removed, and if you say it more than 2 to 3 times, you'll be timed out. Because that's just plain old useless. People always seem the weather community as a whole. They are all pretty much everyone in the community, in Twitter and even YouTube. They're almost wanting. They're almost wanting strong tornadoes and stuff that's insane. And it's just, I don't know. I don't get it. It's like, I get you want something to track, but I mean, come on. It's gonna come in a test, no matter what. Or I should say an expense. But anyways, yeah, this storm is actually strengthening a bit. We may see a tornado out of this near Fairview in north central West Virginia. We'll be live for about 12 more minutes watching this. And then I got stuff to do, so I'm glad today severe threat isn't expected to go overnight. The main severe threat should begin, and is actually already begun decreasing. Really, I said the prime tornado threat I thought was going to be between 5 and 7 p.m., but it was more of 3:30 to 5:30 p.m. More specifically 4:30 to 5:30 Eastern, which we went live at 2:50. So we're gonna call it quits right at 6:50, which we have outro music and stuff. So we'll start ending the stream and outroing towards probably 6:45, maybe a minute or two after that. You're welcome. Glad to have you in here, Blues. Hopefully have a great rest of your day. I'll be back. I will definitely be back Tuesday. I can't make promises on tomorrow, but I'm hoping I can go live about 7 o'clock Eastern time tomorrow. It's just really going to depend on how I feel. I've got a bunch of stuff scheduled for tomorrow, unfortunately. So that's going to be fun. I'll talk more about that on Twitter. So if you want to follow me on any of my socials, my link tree is in the description. You can find my Discord server, my WeatherX social, if anybody even uses that anymore, my X profile, and I think I have my TikTok on there, but I don't post a thing on TikTok. I've gotten rid of the app. If you want to get rid of more brain cells, install TikTok and go follow me, even though I won't even be active on it. YouTube's my YouTube and Twitter. YouTube and Twitter is my main platforms. Engines will be started again at 6:43 Eastern. Yay! So that's perfect timing, because that means I'll be able to catch like the last 30 laps of the race. Yeah, if you want less brain cells. That's if you have any left. I mean, I'm speaking for me and my mods here, because I know most of my mods and, of course, myself, we don't have many brain cells left. F1 is better. I've got a big old ban hammer that can make you regret that decision. Matter of fact, here's a nice timeout for it. I feel like doing that, but I won't. Honestly, I personally don't like F1 that much, but I still see why people love it. So I'm not a hater of F1. Matter of fact, I'd probably love F1 if they just had it was easier to watch. I don't really want to pay $140 a month for a cable. So I think if it was just more widely broadcasted, I'd probably like it more. See you later, Legacy. I assume you're leaving for food. So see you later. No, 6 o'clock. I'm gonna aim to go live at 6 o'clock your time, Legacy. 7 o'clock my time. But no promises at all. I'm hoping to. I'm not planning it, but I'm hoping to. It's just gonna depend on how I feel. That's really it, and I'm not gonna know that until tomorrow at 4 o'clock. And then I won't be here home till probably near 7 or 6. I don't know. I don't know at all. Oh shoot! Hold on. I didn't even think about this. Give me just a second. Okay. I had to text my parents. Oh wow, this just went considerable for 1.75 inch hail. So that's our first considerable severe for hail. Well, there you go. The threat's verified. We had 70-mile-an-hour winds, and now we've had 1.75 inch hail, and we had a tornado. That was all the things that were possible today. Now, the title says 75-mile-an-hour winds and 2-inch hail because 70-mile-an-hour winds was anticipated today. So I always go a little bit over that. If they say 70-mile-an-hour winds likely, I'll say 75, maybe pushing 80. If they say 2-inch hail likely, I'll say 3-inch hail possible. Because typically we're going to see a little bit greater than what they call for. It's still rotating out there in West Virginia. This could still produce a tornado out here near Morgantown if you're in and around Morgantown. If you're in the red polygon west of Morgantown, you need to be in your safe spot. But if you're in and around Morgantown, West Virginia, I'd be monitoring this storm as it could become tornadic near your area. That is in West Virginia. I really think today's threat in the Northeast is done. I don't see much potential anywhere, to be honest. They just took off that Tor Possible. This is somehow Tor Possible up here in northeastern New Hampshire. I don't anticipate that to do anything, but you never know. Maybe it will. You never know. Let's see here. Alright, I will do this in just a second. 4,000 instability. That just means there's a lot of juice available to the storms. There's a lot of other things that contribute to storms as well. It's not just instability. Depending on other ingredients, Girl Dev. Weather's never a one-sided thing. You always need other ingredients. You can't just have instability. You can't just have wind shear. You can't just have lapse rates. There's always multiple ingredients that need to be involved there. So, yeah, we'll just... I'll be keeping an eye on some of these storms, but a live stream is not anticipated tonight. So, just make sure you're weather aware if you're in either one of these watch areas. My phone be getting lit up right now. So, yeah. Main areas to watch is going to be with this storm here, this storm. Definitely this one out here, West Virginia. And I guess we'll keep an eye on the ones in Vermont, too. So, there's still a few different areas to watch. There's still a few different areas to keep an eye on. See if anything else is going to occur out of them. So, still a few regions to watch, but nothing that is... anticipated to be tornadic. I should refrain that. The environment for a tornado is decreasing. There you go. So with that being said, we are going to end this coverage. I know we have a few people still watching. Hopefully you guys have a great rest of your night. I'm really thankful that you guys tuned in today. Greatly appreciated. We reached, all thanks to you guys, we reached almost 2,500 people with the word of severe weather today. We had a couple people who subscribed to the channel, about 6 of them, so I appreciate that. And we had 100 likes. We had a lot of goals. So yeah, that is about it. I will definitely see you guys in Tuesday's live stream. Tomorrow, I cannot guarantee a live stream. Flash warning in the background. Can't guarantee a live stream tomorrow. But if I do go live, it will be about 6 p.m. Or wait, what? Yeah, about 6 p.m. Eastern if I do go live. So stay safe, watch severe weather, hit that like button, and share this channel with your family, friends, social media. Subscribe to the channel, and have a great rest of your night. Stay safe, watch severe weather in the tropics. Thank you, mods, for modding chat. Goodbye. stay safe, watch severe weather in the tropics, and I'll see you guys in my next live stream. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Have a great rest of your night. Goodbye.